Fargodome as we close in on kickoff with South Dakota and North Dakota State. Bison lead the all-time series decisively. USD's 3 wins, 2 of them have come in this building. Let's go down to the third member of our team for our first Peterson Farm Seed Sideline Report and say good afternoon to Sam Getzinger.
Hey, good afternoon, Dom. You know, it's no secret that the last 2 regular season games against South Dakota, they still sting for the Bison, but they're not dwelling on the past. And you guys mentioned it, a big reason for the Coyotes' success over the last couple of years is because of their senior quarterback, Aiden Bauman. Head coach for the Bison, Tim Polasek, says that he is way too experienced of a player to make many mistakes. So they want to play chess with him today, change up the pictures post-snap and make his life uncomfortable in the pocket. And I asked Aiden at the beginning of the season what it was like playing on homecoming back here in 2023. He said it was almost impossible relaying every play to everybody on the field with just how loud it was. But he got the job done then. We'll see how he does here in front of a sellout crowd and homecoming 2025. Guys?
Thanks, Sam. Travis Johansson is the new head coach of South Dakota. He took over when Bob Nielsen announced his retirement in January. Johansson was the longtime defensive coordinator with the Coyotes for the last 5 seasons, comes in at 2-2. They lost convincingly at Iowa State to start the season. Then they had the head-scratching loss at Lamar. They've won the last 2 weeks, Kyle, an overtime victory over Northern Colorado, and last week a big win over Drake.
Yeah, it's been an interesting run so far for Travis Johansson. Again, and we talked about this too, Dom, but I think this is almost, you don't want to call it a rebuild, but it's just, you don't know what you have when you lose that many guys to the portal. Yes, you're inserting guys that have played a ton of football, but it's still, you got to find a way to mesh, and they feel, I know they feel like they are getting there, and this is going to be obviously a big test for both sides to see where each of these teams are at.
Tim Polasek in his second season at North Dakota State, yet to lose a home game at 17-2. Of course, won the national championship a year ago. You could tell he said earlier this week at his press conference that we did not come out like we needed to in that game in Vermillion last year, and USD dominated the first 15 minutes of the game. We get set for the Kraus-Anderson Construction coin toss. Craig Dahl is out there to flip the coin, newest member of the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame. Super Bowl champion with the New York Football Giants in 2007. The team that beat Tom Brady and the unbeaten Patriots.
Okay. South Dakota has won the toss and is elected to defer. You want the ball? Which way do you want to kick?
Kick that way.
You want to kick this way, so spin that way?
Bison have yet to win a coin toss this season at 0-4, so for 4 straight games, they'll have the football to begin it.
I was just going to say, Dom, if you believe in omens or luck or whatever you want to call it, they've obviously played pretty well in the first 3 games, and that is kind of rare, I feel like, to lose 4 straight. But.
Bison coming off this bye week, of course, the tradition that happens in Missouri Valley Football Conference games is the pregame handshake, which is one of the great traditions in college football. And it only happens pregame in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. This is the only game on the league schedule. South Dakota State plays this afternoon, but it's final non-conference game with Mercyhurst, so the rest of the league is keeping its eyes on Fargo here today.
Yeah, without a doubt, and we've talked plenty about South Dakota, but I think teams also want to know about NDSU. Now, I feel like they have established themselves, obviously, as the #1 team in the country with the way that they've played in those first 3 games, but at the same time, and I thought SEMO was maybe even better than we thought, but this is going to, in my mind, this will probably be their best test. It just always is. Anytime you know each other as well as these 2 teams do, you're going to find out a lot about this game. And so you're right, Dom. No one else is playing outside of the Jackrabbits. They're going to have their eyes on this one.
And think about this. How many games where you have both quarterbacks that are lefties?
Yeah,
true. They just don't have that
and a guy
anywhere.
And a guy who's in Aiden Bauman, and well, really in Cole Payton as well, have stuck around for as long as they do. You're not going to see as many experienced quarterbacks as you will with Aiden Bauman coming to this dome and how many times he's played against his team.
Sellout crowd. The final couple tickets were gobbled up this morning. Homecoming is always juice, but I feel it's a different kind of animal here today.
There's always just that different little bit of buzz. I mean, the more people come back, the students are always a little bit more fired up than usual. You get an earlier kickoff time here inside the Fargodome, and it makes for one heck of a matchup and a fun start to our college football Saturday.
Zeke Mata will put it in the air for the Coyotes. Jackson Williams and Raja Nelson are back deep. We're so glad you're spending part of your Saturday with us. The best time of year is here. The best conference at FCS football begins a new season today. And off we go with Bison football on WDAY. A shorter kick, returned by Williams at the 2-yard line. Looking for a seam is Jackson Williams. He'll bring it out to about the 23-yard line, and that's where NDSU will begin on offense for its first possession on this Saturday afternoon, as Cole Payton will bring them out with this offensive line. Keep your eye on Josh Mangan. Polisic said earlier this week Mangan had his best game as a Bison 2 weeks ago in the win over SEMO. Parika Penu still looking for his first 100-yard game of the season. Finn Diggins from Perham off to his best career year as a Bison as well. And Bryce Lance had that 75-yard touchdown reception 2 weeks ago against the Redhawks. From the 23, little jet sweep to Bryce Lance to start. Cuts back, and he's got a first down for the All-American. His first carry of the game out to the 35-yard line before he's brought down from DeJuan Lewis. As we'll introduce you to the South Dakota defense. Keep your eyes on the big man, Caden Crawford, the Iowa transfer, already 6 tackles for loss with Mo Newsom next to him. The linebackers definitely went through some change there. Wade Abrams, keep your eye on him, and Nate Ewell. Meanwhile, on the back end, Mikey Munn, the guy to keep your eye on in the secondary, with 3 interceptions already this season, number 12. He had 2 last week against Drake. On first down, they'll go back to Penu. Puts his head down and gains about 4, Kyle, out to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that Coach Polisic talked about in his press conference and over the bye week. He did a good job of kind of evaluating the team through 3 weeks. I thought, his evaluation was very similar to what I've seen from the running. It's been good at times, and obviously that's a good start there on first down. He said maybe a little bit more attention to detail. That's something to watch. As you mentioned, Josh Mangan had a good game a week ago. How did this offensive line respond after a bye week?
Said this is going to be the offensive line going forward with these 5 guys. They're done tinkering with what they did through the non-conference. Payton will throw for the first time. Flushed here, dumps it off. Penu with a nice catch. Makes one man miss. Try to dive for the first down. It's going to be close. Walsh was trying to wrap him up, number 13. He's going to be just a yard shy.
Well, and this goes to some of the decision-making we talked about. Again, there's nothing downfield. I think South Dakota, keep your eye on it. They do a nice job of just playing kind of this match zone coverage, quarters coverage, and they did a nice job right there, just kind of some hang-up routes there by NDSU of matching it. And then he just, again, the decision-making, nothing's there downfield, don't force anything, and dumps it off to the back.
You see our first Western Bank down in distance is a 3rd down and 1 from the Bison 44. Back to the ground. Penu running hard. He picks up a first down. He was wrapped up. First on the play was Walsh.
It's going to be an interesting matchup all day long, Don. I think, we talked plenty about South Dakota's struggles kind of through 2 weeks. I think the defense to me is still, I'm still trying to figure them out, right? We talked about a lot, both sides of the ball, but they haven't been bad. Think of the Lamar game. They got a ton of points. Same with Northern Colorado. They've been very good in the red zone as well. That's something to keep your eye on here as this game plays out.
It's hard to lose the player of the year defensively.
Right.
Mikeys Grace, who's playing now, as you saw in our graphic, at Kentucky, was just a dominant force. He got by Gray Zabel early in that game last year. Payton here on a little design run. Running hard. He's got a first down before he's brought down again. It's Walsh on the tackle as he gets out to the 41-yard line.
And this is something from the offense from NDSU. You haven't seen a ton of it. You see a nice job there, but that's Finn Diggins. He's going to basically bluff block that defensive end on the edge there. So you're going to make him think that he needs to keep the edge and really just bluff him, allow him to come inside, and then get Cole Payton out to the edge.
It's a gain of 13. The one thing that's happened in the regular season matchups, Kyle, South Dakota scored first. They dominated that game 2 years ago here. Last year, they had the Bison on skates to begin that game. That was a huge difference maker in how the game began. Bison moving on their opening drive with a little play fake. Payton wants Lance deep. He's got him. Lance inside the 10. Before he's pushed out of bounds. That's be a gain of 32.
Well, right in front of Mikey Munn as well. And this is what we were talking about in terms of just like, it's just been different. I mean, this is not an easy throw. I mean, from that replay, it looks a little bit easier than it probably was. Fits it in between the window of the corner and the safety.
They'll go hurry up here on 1st and goal with Penu off the left side, trying to catch South Dakota napping. Maybe a yard for he's brought up down the play by Crawford. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, and you're exactly right, Dom. Anytime you get a big play, we've seen this from North Dakota State many times in the past, trying to capture some of that momentum, trying to catch South Dakota a little off guard, give them a lot of credit as we take another look at this Bryce Lance catch. And again, and those are the kinds of throws that he's runs to some of the cheerleaders as well, but he's just made those pretty consistently to start his starting career here at NDSU.
Made sure everybody was okay there among the cheerleading squad. Officially, they gave Pennu 2. It's 2nd down and goal to go from the 7. Pennu tries to cut back, makes a nice move, lunges in, touchdown, North Dakota State. What a move by Pennu. And what a statement on the opening drive.
You mentioned it, Dom, and I have to guarantee you that Coach Polasek was talking about that, the fast start. And it's one thing to say it, and it's another to go out and do it. And good job here by Barika Pennu of keeping his balance, squaring up his shoulders, bouncing off a defender, and finding his way into the end zone for a much-needed quick start from this Bison offense.
His 6th touchdown of the season was held out of the end zone 2 weeks ago against SEMO after he had 5 in the first 2 games. His Ozick is in to drill the extra point. And what a start for the Bison, marching right down the field on their opening possession. And for the first time, at least in the regular season matchups over the last 3, the Bison strike first.
Well, and I was going to say this, Don, it's anytime you're coming off a bye, I think there's obviously the first drives are always important, right? Everyone wants to talk about a fast start, but I think when you're coming off a bye, there can be a tendency to, are you a little rusty? You haven't played a game in a while. How are you going to respond? How are you going to react? That's why I think these first 2 drives are so critical to see. You know, how is NDSU going to come out? How are they going to respond to coming off of a bye? And obviously, you know, see that 8 plays, 77 yards. It's a pretty good way to start the ball game.
4:06 off the clock at our Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. Pennu's 6th touchdown of the season gives North Dakota State a 7-0 lead. Polasek mentioned earlier in the week as well, just wanted to put the hammer down early. We're going to take it to these guys, because he said it on Tuesday in his press conference that South Dakota dominated that game. When we were there for the first, I'd say, 20 minutes of that football game, the Bison were just on their heels.
Yeah, right. It was 14. I mean, it was, and then again, just a game of swing of momentums, and then NDSU finds themselves up 11-0. Maybe lost a little focus, and the Coyotes found a way to win that one.
We'll see how USD responds. Is this another boomer from Ozick? As USD will start at its own 25-yard line as we introduce you to the Coyote offense, led by the starter and Aiden Bauman, starting his 33rd consecutive game with this offensive line. We mentioned their star tailback is L.J. Phillips. He wasn't supposed to be the guy. Charles Pierre was the preseason All-American. He got hurt, season-ending injury against Lamar. All Phillips has done, run for 300 yards 2 weeks ago, 4 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, 6 touchdowns total, well over 400 yards in just 2 starts.
Listen to this crowd already. You heard Sam mention it, talking to Bauman about being able to signal the plays. They got a penalty flag right off the hop as Bauman will throw that one over the middle. That's going to be incomplete to Phillips. And we'll see what the penalty flag is, as Bauman ended up on his butt too.
Illegal motion. Offense number 1.
That goes right to not being able to hear the play.
Yeah, Sam did a good job of talking about that, and he remembers how loud it is here back in 2023, and it makes sense. I mean, homecoming, we just talked about it. It's just a little bit of different juice, a little different buzz in this Fargodome here today.
The penalty on Lorenzo Fenner as you look at the Bison defensive line. Keep an eye on Jackson Dutenheffer for 2 sacks in the last 2 games against South Dakota. Now 1st and 15. They'll toss to Phillips. Wrapped up almost immediately. Guess who was on the tackle? It's Dutenheffer.
Yeah, Dutenheffer teaming up with his buddy Keenan Wilson. Those 2 guys, I mean, coming into the season, I was really excited to see what both of them can do. But we'll talk plenty about L.J. Phillips. We already mentioned some of his stats. Again, the more I watched him, the more I liked. I thought early on in that game against Northern Colorado, yes, his vision was there, but he was just finding really big, wide open holes. And his balance, his vision to find where he needs to go, this is a guy that will run you over. He's tough to bring down, too.
Gain of 1. It's 2nd down and 14. So he played nearly 5 minutes in the opening quarter. They'll go back to Phillips trying to get to the outside. Was able to evade one tackle. Got out of the way of Darius Givens as he gets out to the 24-yard line.
So interesting when we talk so much about Aiden Bauman and his ability and his experience, and then this offense is really kind of surrounded. I know he got going a little bit against Drake, but it's been centered around this guy, LJ Phillips, and that's why you can't have that penalty on that first play of the game.
Also, another guy we didn't have on our list, Carter Bell, graduated. How great of a deep threat he was for Bauman. Just think 2 years ago, he had 2 50-yard touchdowns against the Bison. It's 3rd and 11. Bryant goes in motion. Bauman over the middle for his tight end. That's hauled in on the reception. As they'll get out to the 33-yard line. Or is wrapped up by Crumby. But it's going to be 4th down.
Well, you see Donovan Woolen come completely free. Really good pressure there, dialed up by Grant Olson. Kind of showed to one side, bluffed, and then came off of it and allowed a free rusher. And just not a lot of time. They did a good job by Bauman to get the ball. I think that is one thing he does a really good job. Keep in mind this offensive line, although there's a lot of new guys, only giving up 1 sack so far. He does do a nice job of getting the ball out of his hand, but NDSU able to get to him and force him out a little bit quicker than he wanted.
Zach Whitty comes up with it as Tyler Ebel is the punter, sending Williams with a great punt. Goes all the way back to his 10-yard line, and that's where the Bison will take over. Timeout. 8:33 remaining, opening quarter. The Bison have drawn first blood. They lead it 7-0. Brought to you by Shields, a proud partner of Bison Athletics. North Dakota State takes over for its second possession. They'll go from the 10-yard line after a booming punt from Ebel that went 57 yards. Pushed Jackson Williams back to his own 10-yard line. So the Bison will start deep in their own end. After going 77 yards for a touchdown on its opening possession. They'll keep it on the ground with Barika Penu off the right side. DeJuan Lewis was able to knock him down there as he gets out to the 14-yard line. Picked up 4.
Yeah, change the play at the line of scrimmage. I think, you know, this is one thing that's interesting with this quarter's coverage. You're going to see a lot of, it's going to look like 2 high safeties, but because of the way they kind of cover, a lot of times you'll see these safeties come up and they'll fit in the run game, but good job there by Barika Penu of staying ahead of the sticks and getting 5 yards on first down.
Yeah, they might come out to the 15, so solid gain as now Penu flexes out to the bottom of your screen here with 3 receivers to the top on 2nd and 5. Good protection for Peyton. Flushed out here, goes deep looking for Raja Nelson. He's got 2 guys down the field. That's Jackson Williams on the reception. Big time play. Cross midfield, they're going to say right at the midfield stripe. It's a gain of 35.
Well, it's scramble drill 101. I mean, you can't really see it right there on that angle, but Jackson Williams completely covered, and you could see at the last minute he kind of locked eyes with Cole Payton and then turned upfield. And Peyton found him. That's exactly what you're gonna do. It turns into a little bit of backyard football. Just okay. If I'm near, I go far. If I'm far, I come back to the quarterback. Jackson Williams, nice job of understanding the scramble drill.
That's just his 3rd reception of the season, but it's by far his longest for the sophomore out of Omaha. A little play fake here to Diggins. Gets rocked by Nate Ewell out of bounds. That's Carson Williams, 88 on the reception. Williams picking up his 3rd catch of the season.
Well, this is one heck of a hit by Nate Ewell. That's not a small man. He sent flying into his own bench there. Good job of recognizing the play fake. That's something, obviously, when you can run outside zone, you see many teams do that, try to mirror up their pass game with their run game. Little play action fake there, but Ewell was not fooled.
It's a gain of 3. It's a 2nd down and 7 as we click down to 6:45 remaining as Peyton goes under center. With Weremeyer lined up. Here's DJ Scott with his first carry, and he's going nowhere. Men immediately on the tackle. Big time there. Chris Dixon is in there on the stop for USD.
Yeah, this is a defensive line that will go 300 plus at both those positions. Both Dixon and Mo Newsome, well over 300 pounds. The big man meets DJ Scott right in the hole, and much needed for this Coyote defense to get them off schedule a little bit.
Right? Yep. No gain of the play, makes it a 3rd down and 7. Dixon with his 22nd tackle of the year. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Peyton now will run, try to evade a guy. He's got a first down and then some. Look at the speed. You just can't account for that, Kyle, as he's down to the 33.
You're right. I mean, it's really just not fair. I mean, South Dakota, they bring 6. They do a pretty good job of pushing the pocket right here. And then you can see they have a spy basically right there. And Peyton just straight up outruns him. That's number 8, Niall Dickel. I mean, the good line. I mean, it's just sometimes you just got to tip your cap if you're South Dakota. We had a guy, we had exactly what we wanted, good coverage downfield and forced the quarterback to scramble, and he just kind of outruns everyone.
It's a gain of 15 on 3rd down as the Bison convert again, and the new set of downs at the South Dakota 32. Maybe some miscommunication there on the snap. I don't know if Peyton was ready for it, as Pennu is going to get met nearly immediately on that. That play looked broken from the start.
Yeah, I think Trent Fraley, the center, snaps this a little bit before anyone was expecting. If you see, he's going to move. Yeah, you see that just a split second. He kind of moves before anyone else. Threw the timing completely off on that. It looked like they were trying to set up some type of counter play. Timing was thrown off and dead play from the start.
Well, if the center's ready to go, everybody else better.
That's right.
Right? No gain. Hardman was in on the stop for South Dakota, so it's 2nd down and 10 from the 32. Peyton will throw over the middle, wide open on that. That's Diggins this time, rumbling. He gets down to the 15-yard line before he's brought down by Wade Abrams, the Perham native playing with a partially torn MCL.
Well, and I thought this was what South Dakota did actually struggle with a little bit against Northern Colorado. It was tight ends over the middle of the field. You could see a little bit different look from them. They bring a linebacker, and for the first time, really, outside of, it's the one pass to Bryce Lance, which was along the sideline, but there wasn't a lot open intermediate routes so far for NDSU for the first time. Diggins wide open over the middle.
Buys it into the red zone after a gain of 17 for Perham's Finn Diggins, as Peyton is changing the play at the line of scrimmage. He's a cool of 6 of 6 for 92 yards. Here's DJ Scott trying to cut forward here. They're going to get him to the 11-yard line before he's brought down by Mo Newsom.
You can see this defensive line doing a really good job of getting hat and hands into the offensive line, getting off of blocks, block destruction, as we've heard Coach Polisek talk. He talked about it on his side. He thought, his defensive line could do a little bit better job of it, but good job there from South Dakota.
Gain of 4 for Scott makes it a 2nd down and 6 from the South Dakota 11-yard line. Bison dominating time of possession as well here in this opening quarter. Remember, the Coyotes had just 4 plays. Peyton wants the end zone for Bryce Lance, incomplete. Good coverage on the back end. Mikey Munn was there. Remember, he's got a couple picks to his name.
Yeah, I was just saying, Dom almost came up with another one there. That ball just maybe slightly underthrown, trying to get a little bit of a double move. See Bryce Lance, you see him right there, kind of look outside and then trying to come back.
Good breakup.
It just really, it's, again, you just got to tip your cap on that one. That's just really good defense there from Munn.
Mentioned 2 picks last week against Drake. He's got 3 on the season. Here's a 3rd down. The Bison already are 2 for 2 on 3rd down conversions in the game. Peyton waiting. Now he's going to try and do something with his feet. Makes a man miss. He's got a 1st down, it looks like. He's out of bounds. They're going to mark him there. It's a 1st down for NDSU at the 4-yard line.
Really good pocket here from NDSU. Bo Johnson does a nice job of collapsing the defensive line. Then he just kind of fools everyone there. He had enough time to keep his eyes downfield, and so defense doesn't know now. Is he going to break the line of scrimmage? Is he going to throw it? Is he going to run it? Does a nice job of kind of dancing around and picking up a 1st down. NDSU doing really well so far on these 3rd down conversions.
1st down and goal to go. From the 4, Peyton cuts back in, leans forward. No signal, he's down at the 1.
Quarterback number 9, Cole Peyton, the ball carrier.
It's the first time we've seen design runs for Peyton in the season, though.
Yeah, a lot of it has been him when he has run. It's been a lot of scrambling as they try to go fast yet again.
On 2nd down, Peyton here trying to lean in with that 6'3" frame. 2nd effort. Touchdown, North Dakota State. His 2nd rushing score of the year, and the Bison are up 13-0.
Well, this is a good look at it, Dom, because you're right. He's stuffed there. He is completely short. And then there was that second effort, just kept those legs driving, found a way just to get the nose of the football across the plane. Good effort there from Cole Payton to get that into the end zone.
With a little push from Penu on the back end. Ozick for the extra point. Good hold there, and it's no good. That was pushed wide to the right from Ozick, his first extra point miss of the season. Timeout with 2:17 remaining in the first quarter. Bison lead it 13-0. By Sanford, we deliver exceptional health care, here for all, here for good. Sanford Health. Buys it into the end zone again on the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 12 plays, 90 yards, 6 minutes and 16 seconds off the clock. Cole Payton, second rushing touchdown of the season from a yard out. The extra point missed by Ozick. Looked like it may have been a bad snap. Bickerton had to do a little bit of fumbling around to get that down, but Ozick missed as he booms this one into the end zone for a touchback. We got a timeout. 2:17 left, opening quarter. North Dakota State leads it 13-0. Back inside the Fargodome, 13-0. North Dakota State with a lead on South Dakota. Coyotes have had the ball for just over 2 minutes in this game. They'll keep it on the ground on first down with Reed Watkins, who tried to get upfield. Met there immediately. So we gave that to their jet sweep guy, Tedell Bryant, before he's brought down by Cobb.
And that's another guy you typically might see, Keandre Jones-Logan, another guy that we fail. I mean, there's so many that we talked about that South Dakota no longer has. He's also out with an injury. Another kind of gadget weapon guy that they'll be missing today for sure.
Gain of 2. Coyotes just need a couple of first downs to stem the tide right now. That's Bryant in motion. They'll fake there. Bauman will throw, incomplete, trying to hit Jack Martins. Little miscommunication there. Duffy and Shadimi Alfaro were in the area.
Well, it's really good coverage, but this is what I'm talking about. I mean, this is a ball that's, I mean, if this is on the money, that's completed, and it's just, it hasn't been the entire year, but you look at some of the numbers, right? It's just off. I mean, you're even talking to some of the guys down in Vermillion and some of the local media, it's just like, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just slightly off for whatever reason a lot of times in the passing game so far this season.
Martins had the first touchdown to start the comeback last year against the Bison. Bauman slings that, incomplete. He was trying to hit Martins again, bobbled it. Dutenheffer was in the area, and it's going to be a quick 3-and-out, Kyle.
Well, if Dutenheffer sticks his hands out here, he might have a touchdown. Let's see how close this is. It's tough to tell from that angle, but he played that perfect. I mean, that's what you talk about as a defensive lineman. Read the screen. You're the guy that can make the play. I know his hands are taped up quite a bit. I don't know how good his hands are, but if he sticks those out, he might be running the other way.
Tyler Ebel will punt for the second time in this game. Conklin almost got a hand on it. Williams will field it from the 35. Jackson Williams wants to return it up the field, and he's out of the Bison. He gets that to the USD side of the field at the 46-yard line before he's brought down as the Bison offense will come out of the field. A quick word from the Bank of North Dakota.
Bank of North Dakota wants you to be confident with your student loan decisions. Before applying for a Federal Plus or private student loan, compare all of the benefits and terms with B&D's student loans. Visit bnd.nd.gov.
South Dakota with just 3 minutes of time of possession here, and the Bison with a short field to work with at the USD 46.
Yeah, that's been a common theme for North Dakota State so far this year as well, especially you go back to that Tennessee State game where it seemed like every single time they touched the ball, they were at midfield or even better.
Payton 5 of 6 for 92 yards through the air, 39 rushing yards as well in the opening quarter as Penu tried to leap forward there, was met nearly immediately. Crawford was the one laying the boom there for South Dakota.
That's interesting. USD wanted to get a false start there from NDSU. It's never called. I think they wanted that on Bo Johnson, but it was never called. And it's interesting. I was about to say, it feels like this Coyote defense holding up against the run. NDSU still averaging over 5 yards a carry. They've done enough on the ground game. Yes, they haven't hit a home run or anything like that, but they've done enough to be able to stay balanced. Is obviously what Dan Larson and Coach Polasek want to live when they're calling plays, staying ahead of the chains.
Again, just what Peyton can do with his legs, you can't account for that. On 2nd down and 7, they'll dump it off in a screen play. Penu wrapped up, good tackle by Nate Ewell. And it's going to be 3rd down.
Phenomenal tackle by Nate Ewell, because this is set up. They have a guy out there. You have a blocker. You have exactly what you want if you're North Dakota State. And he just does a nice job of, I've said this many times, if you hesitate, you get blocked. That was an old coaching saying that used to tell me, all my teammates, when you hesitate, you get blocked. He just makes a decision, does it fast. That's a case where if you miss that, you're at least turning it back to the pursuit of the defense. So a really nice job there by Nate Ewell.
Got around Nate Schneckloth. Was trying to black downfield here. It's a 3rd down and 6. They picked up 1. We'll see if they get this off before the end of the quarter. They're going to have to with the play clock. Here's Owen Johnson with his first carry. Look at the second effort. He's going to be just shy. It'll be a 4th down decision for the Bison offense when we come back for the 2nd quarter. What a start, though, for NDSU on homecoming. Cole Peyton showing out so far. Barika Penu with a touchdown. Peyton with a rushing touchdown. At the end of 1, it's North Dakota State 13, South Dakota nothing. 2nd quarter coming up. You're watching Bison football on WDAY.
Back here inside the Fargodome, you can see that Owen Johnson's knee actually comes down a little bit earlier than we initially thought. Thought it was going to be about 4.5 yards. Going to be about 4th and a long 2 or 3. NDSU still deciding they want to roll the dice.
From the USD 39 as we start the 2nd quarter. Peyton, can he get a block? He got one. He's got a 1st down and then some. Leaping forward. Boy, that speed, Kyle. It goes out to the 29-yard line. He picked up 10 before he's brought down.
Well, you can see him after the play, too. Let's keep it rolling. You can tell, you talked about it. It hasn't done a ton of this design quarterback run. You can see it more now that they started Valley play.
They'll go up tempo on 1st down. Over the middle for Nelson, who takes a shot inside the 5. It's a gain of 23 to Raja Nelson.
Well, and his confidence just has to be off the charts right now. This is a throw that it's tough. You got 2 guys sitting underneath. You got a safety sitting over the top. And once again, Cole Peyton finds a way to fit this right inside of a tight window. You see there's 3 guys surrounding Raja Nelson. A nice job of hanging on to it as he takes a shot.
DeJuan Lewis was the one bringing the boom there as the Bison are back inside the red zone with a 1st down and goal to go at the 6-yard line. You're right, that was on point. Peyton 7 of 8 to begin the game. Penu is the tailback. Nelson in motion. Keep it on the ground. Penu right up the gut. No signal yet. Touchdown, North Dakota State. What a start.
Well, and it's a very similar action to what we just saw, except for this time Cole Peyton hands it off to Barika Penu, and this is what can happen. You start to involve the quarterback run game just a little bit more. It makes those defenders just a little bit hesitant. You got to have good eyes on that mesh point. For the first time in a little while, at least, you see a nice hole open up for Barika Penu, and he gets in for the 2nd time today.
Boy, this is as efficient as you have seen from the Bison offense. Frankly, this is what they've done in the first 3 games. It's carried over to the conference opener. Ozick for the extra point. This time it's true. With 13:44 to go in the first half, the Bison have roared out of the gates on homecoming. Barika Penu's 7th rushing touchdown of the season makes it 20-0 Bison. Back inside the dome, 20-0 North Dakota State. You look at the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 6 plays, 46 yards, 2:44 off the clock. Barika Penu's 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. This time from 6 yards out, makes it a 20-0 North Dakota State lead. The Coyotes have 15 yards of offense and are shell-shocked at how this one has started. as Ozick booms another one into the back of the end zone for a touchback. Coyotes are coming out to their 25-yard line. First, a word from the Bank of North Dakota.
Bank of North Dakota wants you to be confident with your student loan decisions. Before applying for a Federal Plus or private student loan, compare all of the benefits and terms with B&D's student loans. Visit bnd.nd.gov/confident.
All right, you've got a senior quarterback here. How big a deal is that with Aiden Bauman, but you're down 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Obviously, he can lean on his experience, but you just got to get something going here. It's got to start with just a first down, right? Let's set that as a goal right here. Get a first down, keep our defense off the field, allow them to rest a little bit.
Bison already with 10 of them. USD yet to pick up one as they'll keep it on the ground with Phillips, and he's met by Keenan Wilson, exploding off his spot. He may have got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Yeah, well, this was the conversation all week. How do you stop a guy who ran for over 300 yards? He's kind of shorter, but he's a big back. He's tough to bring down. And I said, it's always going to start with the defensive line. Keenan Wilson kind of splitting the double team right there and continuing his hot start to the season as well.
Wilson came in already with 6 tackles and a sack and a half. No gain in the play, makes it 2nd down and 10. From the Coyote 25. This crowd, maybe not as fervent as it was to begin with. They're still loud. Had plenty to cheer for already. On 2nd down, here's Phillips with a seam breaker. Bounces off a guy, and that is what he's done the last 2 weeks for the Coyotes. He breaks it out to the 42, picks up 17 for stealing, brought him down.
Yeah, there you go. This is what we were talking about. Again, it's the vision, it's understanding. You see right there, I think he's really good at that one cut, and then you see Jalen Crumby come in, and that is not going to get it done against LJ Phillips. Again, this is why I talk about it's got to start at the line of scrimmage, because you get him to that 2nd level, and that's exactly what South Dakota needed. You get Phillips going a little bit, now it can open up some passing game. Still a lot of clock left, a lot of ball game left for them to get something going.
5'9", 225 out of Wichita. Had an ACL injury that scared off the big-time recruiters. And USD was able to pounce. He goes here for Kelton McCaslin, will bring him down at the 47.5-yard line.
And he's so different than the All-American that they lost, Charles Pierre Jr., right? He's not necessarily a home run threat. He's not going to maybe outrun some DBs when he gets to that 2nd level, but it's just, again, it's the balance, the vision. You're going to see a lot of just that. If you allow him to get going a little bit, that one cut, he will find it, he'll get downhill, and he'll do what he just did right there and get 5-6 yards.
Finally got something for the Coyotes to stay on the field. It's a 2nd down and 4. Bauman now throws to the outside, incomplete, trying to hit Martins there. Again, Kyle, just looks like something's off with the passing game.
And I think they're going to challenge him. I think that's why they're, right there, it looked like man-to-man just from NDSU, just trying to create some tight windows. And again, don't get me wrong, that's a tough throw. That's an out all the way to the other sideline. With not a lot of room there, that ball's got to be perfect. But again, a guy like Aiden Bauman's skills, you expect him to start to make some of those throws.
3rd and 6 from the Coyote 47. Martins in motion. Bauman waiting over the middle, incomplete, way airmailed there on Tyson Bowes, and it's going to be 4th down. He had time.
He had some of the time. I think some pressure got on his face just a little bit. Let's take another look at this, and I think it kind of threw off his arm angle. See, it just looked a little off once again.
Yeah.
I keep using the same word, but you could tell he was affected just a little bit there. Had a guy, and again, this is a lot of what I saw when you go back to that Northern Colorado game where they could not get anything going through the air. It was just missing some of those intermediate throws.
Another punt from Ebel. He drove Williams back the last time. Williams will let this go. It's going to take a USD bounce. Boy, that's a beauty. They're going to mark this at the 4-yard line. Ebel's been the hero so far for USD on special teams. We've got a timeout with 11:27 to go in the first half. Bison have the football and leading 20-0. Bison football is brought to you by Shields. Be sure to stop by Shields for all your hunting needs this fall. Beautiful punt by Ebel, 47 yards, will pin the Bison at their own 5-yard line. So far, USD has offered no resistance defensively. As Peyton will throw out of his own end zone. He's got Bryce Lance wide open. Lance all the way out near midfield. That's a gain of 42.
And I love the
big home
decision.
run.
Yeah, I love the decision here from Dan Larson. You get tight, everyone tighten up. You think it's going to be a run, and then you just run this deep post here from Bryce Lance. He's wide open over the middle of the field. No one's sitting there. As both safeties kind of committed to other routes there, and he's coming off a career game as well. Bryce Lance just 2 weeks ago against SEMO.
Well, we talked to him in the post-game show, and I know fans are saying, well, what's going on with Bryce? All he was leading the team in receptions, but he hadn't found the end zone yet.
Found the end zone, and it wasn't really that splash play. Well, he had plenty of them 2 weeks ago.
He's got a couple already here today. On first down, here's DJ Scott pushed out of bounds as he'll go to the 49-yard line. It goes downstairs for a Peterson Farm Seed sideline report. Here's Sam.
You know, we're seeing a really good performance from Barika Penu once again. And I asked offensive coordinator Dan Larson what he's seen from the West Fargo native so far this season. He told me that he's playing with a lot less pressure this year. He said that past, Barika would have to try to prove himself with some really good running backs in the room, and now he doesn't have to do that. He knows he'll get another opportunity, and that's helped him gain more confidence and be more decisive throughout the start of this season.
Right now, DJ Scott is the back. Thanks, Sam, on 2nd down and 6. They'll go right back to the Kennesaw State transfer. Good second effort. Lunges 4. They're going to mark him at the 45-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and short.
Well, we talked about the quarterback run game. I haven't talked about the A-gap power has also returned a little bit. Haven't seen a ton of it through the first 3 games, but see, that's obviously a bread and butter play that NDSU fans will be very aware of, just that run right up the middle. And, you know, Coach Polisic used to always say back even when I was playing, you just keep looking for 3-4 yards every single time, and got just about that.
Redshirt sophomore Nate Schneckloff is in there playing at right guard, number 72. Look at the hole here for Scott. Lowered the boom on Roman Tillman, and a first down. Welcome to Fargo for DJ Scott.
Well, he's been doing this a lot. I mean, he's not the biggest guy. You see right there. I mean, that is a collision at its finest right there. One DJ Scott. My goodness.
It's a first down. The Bison will rush to the line of scrimmage. Scott here off the left side. And he's got at least another 5 to the 34-yard line before he's wrapped up by Ashton Payne. He had to come in since Tillman got his helmet knocked off.
And basically the exact same play. And again, they're finding something. That's the best I think I've seen the offensive line come off the ball.
Look at Sam O'Jur, your old teammate.
It's a guy that used to do some things like that as well back in his day.
Sure, he had a couple of helmet knocks off as well during his fabulous career. Gain of 5. Penu now back in on 2nd down and 5 from the USD 34. Penu tries to get to the outside. Tillman able to trip him up there. Good tackle from Roman Tillman, who is USD's leading tackler coming into this game. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, and really, I mean, it's good to see Roman Tillman back on the field. It's just one play off, and after what had just happened to him, going to get stiff arm to the face again, but does a nice job of just doing enough to get Barika Penu out of bounds.
3rd down and 3. The Bison so far, Kyle, 4 of 5 on 3rd downs. A couple of those converted because of Peyton's legs.
I think that's where he's the most dangerous. Anytime you get in a 3rd and short situation, you get him out on the edge a little bit, give him that run pass option.
They'll keep it on the ground with Barika Penu. Look at the seam here. Penu to the outside. He's got a first down for. He's finally drugged down. Tillman again on the tackle, but the Bison have a first down. It's a gain of 15.
Well, you know, and when you're running the ball like that, why go to Cole Payton? You just hand it off. And again, I think this is the best this offensive line has looked so far in this game, which is weird to say with how well that they've played offensively, but you can tell it's just kind of a concerted effort. We're going to hand the ball off, and we're going to try and wear down this defense who's been on the field a ton.
Bison are into the red zone once again with a first down, as you see in our First Western Bank down and distance from the USD 16. Scott will get the carry. DJ cuts back upfield, or he's going to be brought down on the tackle by Chris Dixon. They'll give him 1.
Yeah, a little bit of different look. It was really just, you know, kind of straight downhill, some inside zone, outside zone there for NDSU throughout this drive. Go a little bit of a counter play, but still, I mean, this is exactly what you want to, you know, burn some more clock. Obviously, you want to find a way to get in the end zone, but it's just kind of slow, methodical, wear down the defense. Exactly what Tim Polisic and this coaching staff wants at this point of the ball game.
Collins goes in motion with Bryce Lance to the top of your screen. Peyton evades the pressure again. Now he'll take off. Leaping again! again for the second time this season. He leaps a defender. Polasek wasn't thrilled the first time it happened. I'm not sure he's got a feel on this one.
You could kind of see it coming from here, couldn't you? I mean, you could tell he's just, oh, there's two guys. One's going to go low. Yeah, I'm going to go up top. Like, yeah, you're right. I talked to a couple different coaches, not super thrilled with it, but when you have that athleticism, I mean, you can't, at the same time, you don't want to bottle him up, and you want him to go out and be who he is. Showing off that athletic ability once again.
He was doing that at Omaha West Side in 2020 when he led them to the state championship, leaping over defenders. 5 years later, doing it now in Division I football in Fargo. It's a 3rd and 1 from the 7. They'll give it to DJ Scott. He's got a first down, still churning the legs forward. They'll mark him at the 3. It'll be first down and goal to go.
When you go back to that play, you know, with Cole Payton again, and that goes back to just, I think it's decision making. I thought he had a little bit of a window maybe to force one to Bryce Lance, but again, that's the maturity of understanding the situation, understanding where you're at in the ball game. And then his ability to keep his eyes downfield, I think it just freezes defenders just enough, and he's just so fast and able to get around the corner more often than not.
Bison have run for 150 yards. They already have 306 total yards of offense. First down and goal to go. To the end zone. Touchdown! Bryce Lance! How do you defend it?
You're right. I was just going to say, I mean, just kind of pick your poison here, especially on this drive. It was Barika Penn, it was DJ Scott, it was Cole Payton. Now you go to the All-American Bryce Lance. Puts it right over the helmet of the defender in a perfect spot. It's just, it's tough to defend all these weapons on NDSU, especially they do such a nice job of switching it up. If you're South Dakota, especially defensively, I mean, you're just kind of looking for any type of answer at this point.
Second receiving touchdown of the season for the Marshall, Minnesota native after 17 a year ago. There's 4 NFL scouts in the building. I'm sure they were taking note on that one, Kyle. Extra point up and good from Ozick. What a first half for the top-ranked team in the country. 5:38 to go in the first half. North Dakota State leads it 27-0. Nothing. NDSU with the lead. Look at the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. Another one, Kyle, from the 5-yard line. 11 plays, 95 yards, 5:49 up the clock. Payton to Bryce Lance on a 2-yard touchdown, his second of the year. This is about as perfect of a half as you could have. The only minus you'd have is the missed extra point.
That's right.
Other than that, this has been a clinic in the first half. Line drive kick from Ozick again. Will go out of bounds for a touchback as USD comes out of the field. Here's a quick word from Shields. This is all what South Dakota does not want to do. They do not want to be throwing the football. They want to run it. They want to establish with their guy. Can they still do that with the score the way it is?
I think they have to. I don't think you just want to sit back and drop back and pass for the rest of the ball
Not
game.
a good solution for Bauman there. As they'll give it to Phillips here. The Bison swarm all over that. Looked like Elijah and Wayne joined by Donovan Woolen in there.
And you know, maybe at a different time, a different year, yeah, you'd let Aiden Bauman just sit back there and try and pick apart defense, but that is not where you want to live as an offensive quarterback. You love that as a defender when you know they're just going to sit back and they're going to drop back and they're going to pass you. As a defensive lineman, you can tee off. It's not where you want to live, but yeah, the score is kind of dictating. At this point, you got to get that run game going quickly, or else you're going to have to start throwing the ball. You got to get something going downfield.
Loss of 2. Be a 2nd down and 12. Coyotes with just 36 yards of offense. They'll go over the middle, hit his tight end, Jesse Miller, on the reception as he gets out to the 32 before he's brought down by Woolen.
Yeah, a small thing, but I mean, this is what you can see right there, Staling dropping out of the middle of the coverage there. That's telltale sign that's covered 2. There's going to be a little bit of a hole right there in the middle of the field. I know it's a small thing, but those are the passes he's been missing. I just think it's got to be something like that to get some of that confidence back and see if they can get this pass game going a little bit.
Bauman just 2 of 6 so far. Coyotes again with 3rd and long. They convert there to get to 3rd down and 3. 0 for 3 on 3rd downs. The toss. Now we got a penalty flag. I thought there was movement up front, and there was. It looked like the USD line was moving there before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Got Miller, the tight end. Grant Henderson, our referee today. First time we've heard him. And that's exactly what you didn't need.
Right.
It's 3rd and 3. You got a chance to convert.
I mean, you look at a play caller's play, and it's the same thing on defense. You have your calls from 3rd to 3. You have your calls from 3rd to 8. Now is the time where you can dial up some pressure. You can play some coverage if you want. You can do a lot of different things as a defensive coordinator.
3rd and 8. Bauman slings to the outside. Miller gets the catch. Try to stretch for the 1st down. Depends on the marking here. It's close. Looks like he's going to be a yard short. Good tackle from Jaquise Alexander.
That was a really good tackle of him coming off in the flat and coming up and making a really good tackle.
Not the sight Bison fans want to see right now with Toby Anene. Back here at the 20-yard line. Being attended to right now by the Bison medical staff. You caught the end of that replay there, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, it almost looked like to me just the way that he hit the quarterback. You know, yeah, I was just going to say it might be a stinger. You could see him kind of rubbing out the back of his shoulder there. You see right here just the way his head kind of hit there. That's sometimes telltale sign of a stinger. We'll see it. Those are the type of injuries that they're really painful for a while, and you usually can kind of walk them off. We'll see. Let's hope that it's just something kind of minor like that.
Talking with Dr. Bruce Pyatt right now.
Well, and the other thing you got to do right there, anytime there's some type of contact ahead, they're going to also check him for a concussion as well. I think that's what they're doing right now.
The junior defensive end. From Cottage Grove, Minnesota, the dynamite player. But Coyote offense is going to stay on the field here, Kyle, from their own 34 down 27. What else you got to lose, I guess, is what Travis Johansson's thinking. 4th and 1. We'll see if they're going to snap it or not. They'll try to drive the Bison off sides here. That timeout taken by South Dakota. Nice job there for the Bison defense not to flinch.
So much harder to do on the road as well. I mean, it's already so loud. Obviously, I think Bison defense can hear that clap, but outside of that, it's just so much more difficult to get someone to jump when it's as loud as it is here inside the Fargodome.
This will be a second timeout.
USD spends its first timeout. Stay tuned, everybody, for the Pro Seat halftime report. Coming up with our guy, Sam Getzinger. You'll also get to see the 8 new inductees to the Bison Hall of Fame, including, you saw Craig Dahl do the coin toss, Brian Sand, former basketball standout, and former President Joe Chapman, all be honored. You'll see that as part of halftime coming up in 2 minutes and 59 seconds of game action. Evil back to punt. Well, maybe they'll try and fake it here. They will. Before the ball was snapped, though, Polasek called timeout. Travis Johansson not thrilled about that. So the Bison got the timeout in before the play was called. You can see Johansson is hot, and a penalty flag has been thrown.
A penalty flag.
What a series of events we just saw. I mean, if you're USD, you're thinking you just got the first down.
Sideline warning. South Dakota State. This is their first warning of the game.
So now they're calling it a warning.
And the penalty flag was out. Add insult to injury. Grant Henderson called him South Dakota State, which probably ain't going to make anybody happy.
All right, well, at least now you know you still have the opportunity.
Right.
If you want to, you can
Do you
go
do it
for
again?
I was thinking, you know, now you're going to get backed up 15 yards instead.
So there's no yardage on the penalty or the sideline warning. We'll see if they punt it away, and they will this time. Another brilliant punt from Ebel. Williams, fair catch that late. Fair catch signal. Bison fans weren't thrilled that he got hit on the play. Mason Calgo was down there. And that's where the Bison will take over.
I think that's a good no call.
It's a late signal from Williams.
It's a late signal. It's incidental. I think it's a good no call. I mean, going back, I love the call from Travis Johansson.
Yeah, why not?
I was going to say, I think they should have just gone for it. Down 27, and 4th and half a yard, you should have just gone for it. So I love the fact that they fake. I understand why he's so upset. Maybe the timeout of the year there from Coach Polasek.
2:47 to go in the first half. The Bison have had the ball 4 times. They have scored 4 touchdowns. They'll go to work from the 17-yard line with 2:47 to work with and 2 timeouts. As Peyton trying to get away from Crawford. Can he pick up a block on the outside? He's going to get pushed out of bounds. After all that, maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard.
Oh, this is a really good job of bottling up. You see Cade Crawford, number 10, does a nice job of kind of coming inside to take away that lane, and then does another good job of forcing Cole Payton all the way to the outside where he can just pick up about half a yard.
USD will get the football to start the second half. From the First Western Bank down in distance, it's a 2nd down and 9. Down to 2:15 remaining in the first half as Peyton finds Lance again. It's too easy. Lance gets all the way out to the 41-yard line for a gain of 23.
Oh, you're right. It's just pitch and catch at this point. You see it. You see a nice job of looking off the safety and then just coming right back to Bryce Lance, buying himself just enough time. And this is that middle 8 where Coach Polasek has talked so much about. And they have been dynamite so far. He mentioned that in his press conference as well, as how good they have been in the last 4 of the first half and the first 4 of the second.
That'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. North Dakota State trying to move again before halftime. The Bison lead it 27-0.
Welcome back inside of the Fargodome, where the Bison lead South Dakota 27-0 with 2 minutes left in half. Toby Anene, after being a little slow getting off the field, a couple of possessions to go, he had a quick consultation with the team doctors, but was adamant that he is okay. Good sign for the Bison defense, guys.
Thanks, Sam. Out of the timeout, 23-yard reception from Lance. It's a first down from the 41. Peyton will just down this one, throw it into the ground. Didn't see anything like there. That's just going to be the second incomplete pass of the first half.
Well, he's been so efficient. I mean, really, this offense has. We highlighted in the pregame show talking about, you know, kind of where they have been through 3 games. They're top 11 in basically every single category.
You're going to get intentional grounding here on Peyton?
Well, it might not. Yeah, that's a good call, Dom.
Did he get back to the line of scrimmage? That was my first inkling here.
Yeah, he was outside of the pocket. I was looking downfield. But I don't think there was any receiver in the area. That's obviously what they're discussing right now. Should be a huge break for South Dakota. That's obviously a loss of down.
Correct.
Kind of stymie this 2-minute drive.
Grant Henderson wants to talk a little bit more with. Now he's done talking with Tim Polasek.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 9. Spot foul with a loss of down. In order to avoid a 10-second runoff, North Dakota State has elected to take a timeout.
So the Bison will use their second timeout here. Let's get another look at it, Kyle. The line of scrimmage is the 41.
Yeah, I think that's a good. It looked like they were almost trying to set up a screen to break a penalty. You see that in the bottom left corner of your screen, but he was way downfield, and that hit nowhere near him. And if it gets back to the line of scrimmage, then it's okay outside of the pocket. And that's obviously what they're talking to Coach Polasek. Not necessarily, hey, do you think this was the right call? But hey, do you want to take a timeout, avoid the runoff? And that's the decision that he made.
So they have one timeout remaining. Polasek stressed in the offseason, if we're going to be as good as we were last year, we have to dominate in this part of the game. And how often times last year where Cam Miller would somehow scrounge 3 or 7 at the end of the first half. They did it almost every game.
Yeah, he would always find a way, and that was something I know this coaching staff was curious about, is how this team would kind of react in these 2-minute drills.
So after the penalty and the loss of down, it's 2nd down and 17 for the Bison 34. Payton wide open as Nelson, he overshot him. He had him by about 3 steps.
Yeah, this is a complete bust in the back end there for South Dakota. You could see both guys kind of talking to each other after the play. I think just a little bit of pressure might have thrown him off, but yeah, that's one. Cole Payton obviously hasn't missed many of them this year. That's one he's going to want back.
Late pressure there from Niall Dickel, but Nelson there was nobody in the zip code. 3rd and 17. Chance for USD to finally get off the field defensively. Bison have got to get to the USD 49. Payton now is going to take it, cut back up the field, took a shot, still on his feet. Look at this. He's got a 1st down and then some. Holy cow. He gets out to the 45-yard line. He just picked up 21.
That's unbelievable because they're only rushing through. You got 8 guys basically playing zone coverage with eyes on the quarterback. And you see that, I mean, there's 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe guys had a chance at him, and he picks up another 1st down. Unbelievable.
Nate Ewell is down, one of USD's best defenders. You can see here on the back end of that play, number 0. You know, you were talking about LJ Phillips earlier that you can't, like, Duffy was trying to tackle him up top. You can't do that with Payton either.
You can't. I mean, he's built like a tight end. He runs like a running back. Just, I don't know what you do. Again, you see look how many guys are going to have a shot at him right here.
There's 5 guys in the screen there.
He gets about 3 of them to take out themselves, and then just finds a way to move the chains. If you're South Dakota, you're just going to be throwing your hands up in the air. I mean, we got everything going for us on that drive. We're finally getting off the field. I was just about to say they have 3 timeouts. They could maybe, you know, themselves put together a drive and try to get in the end zone before half.
Tough here for Ewell, the senior out of Waterloo, Iowa, who's been a great defender for South Dakota the last couple of years. Came into the game with 16 tackles on the season and already with 4 here today. Slowly coming off the field and likely heading for the locker room. It's officially 21 yards on the carry as Payton is the leading rusher for the Bison as well with those 72 yards on the ground. And he's carried it 10 times in the first half. That is a complete change from what we saw for the first 3 games.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't surprise me. They wanted to kind of hold on to that a little bit, but they've unleashed them today.
Clock running. Bison have 1 timeout to play with now from the USD 45. Panu off the right side with room. He's pushed out of bounds after he picked up another 1st down. They'll mark him out at the 32 and a gain of 13.
Oh, and it's a nice switch up after essentially a pass play on every single play so far this drive. Now, you know, the clock is really not even a concern. You still have a timeout. It's going to stop on 1st downs. Really have the whole playbook at your disposal. If you're Dan Larson, and a good switch up there. Probably, again, saw this a little bit in one of the other plays. They ran it on 3rd down. That's your ability to kind of self-scout over the bye week and switch some things up.
From the 32. Williams and Nelson to the bottom of your screen. Over the middle. That one knocked down. Dixon got his big paw up there to finally make a play defensively.
Well, and it's a good thing he did. I think he had Rajah Nelson over the middle. If he had it there, nice job. That's what you're always taught. Obviously, if you can't get to the quarterback, get a little bit of a push. The better push you get, the easier it is. Get those big paws up there and knock the ball to the turf.
North Dakota State has 359 total yards of offense with 1:21 to go in the first half. That's good for a game. 1:21 remaining. 2nd down and 10. 27-0 our score. Peyton looking for somebody to get open. Penu does, then takes a shot after he caught it. He's going to pick up about 5, and it's going to be 3rd down as the bicycle hurry up here. I'll say it's actually 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7, spawning from the 29. They'll keep that timeout. Peyton over the middle. Touchdown, North Dakota State. Welcome to the end zone, Reese Kessel. The Fargo South kid. All he does is make big plays.
That's it. That's all he does. Dominant. Good job by Barika Penu of picking up the pressure, and then once again a nice throw here. And you're right. That's all Reese Kessel seems to do is catch 30, 40-yard passes, and now he finds his way into the end zone.
Kyle, he has 4 receptions. All of them have been explosive plays. All of them have been 25 yards or more. And the route is on here at homecoming. Ozick for the extra point on a drive that seemed like it was stopped. It was 3rd and 17. Peyton picks up the first. Look at the team reacting as Reese Kessel has his first career touchdown.
Yeah, just a great route, just right over just a seam route, right? And that's what you're taught to as a receiver, kind of bend that in at the last moment. The defender's not in a bad spot, but Cole Peyton does a nice job of kind of leading him just a little bit to the right side, pulls him away from the defender, and you can see how excited they are for the local kid to get in the end zone.
Let's go back here, Kyle. This was the 3rd down play that kept the drive alive.
Well, and as he starts to run, I'm thinking there's no way. I mean, again, they only rush 3 right here, right? So you have 8 guys in zone coverage. Usually they have eyes on the quarterback. Man-to-man is typically when you can find seams as a quarterback because everyone has eyes on the receivers, right? It makes sense. In this case, Cole Peyton just makes about 6, 7 guys miss, and then it leads to the Reese Kessel touchdown.
Look at the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 9 plays, 83 yards, 29-yard touchdown pass to the redshirt freshman from Fargo South, Reese Kessel. I've seen a lot of really impressive Bison halves. This is near the top of what they've done here.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you come into the game and you think obviously NDSU is a favorite for a reason, but I just felt like
especially against a quality opponent.
Just felt like South Dakota was going to put up a fight. They were playing a little bit better, right? They had some things rolling for them against Drake. Thought maybe they found a little confidence after kind of a slow start to the year, and this had to be their worry. I know there was talk of this, right? This might be a blowout. I mean, even a couple weeks ago, and it started really down against Iowa State. And
yes.
We kind of looked at that score like, yes, Iowa State is a really good team. They're nationally ranked in the FBS for a reason, but you just don't lose that game 55-7 if you're a top FCS 5 contender. Team, right? Maybe you lose the game, sure, but it just kind of started there, and obviously the wheels have kind of fallen off here in Fargo.
53 seconds to play in the first half. Coyotes with the football as Bauman will go over the middle. That's Lorenzo Fenner with his first reception. Fenner has been the big play guy for the Coyotes. May have fumbled. Nope, they'll say he's down before Shadimi Alfaro brought him down. Fenner had a 70-yard touchdown reception last week against Drake.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for South Dakota. You got to get this guy going. And Fenner is just, he's a prototypical wide receiver. He's a guy you can throw the ball up. He can go up and get it. Got to get him going as well.
Over the middle, hauled in by Phillips. He drags both defenders with him, both Kopp and Woolen, as he gets out to the midfield stripe, and a gain of 11 as USD goes hurry up here.
Yeah, and sometimes this is what you need for an offense, just to get something clicking. Just stop thinking and just go as fast as possible, open it up a little bit as NDSU's playing that soft coverage.
Anene is back into the game for NDSU. Over the middle here, another one to Phillips. Another tackle by Kopp. Clock will stop here at the 37. USD has 2 timeouts to work with. They elected not to use it here, so we're down to 25 seconds to go. Once the ball is spotted, the clock will run. Bauman backtracking here, is just going to throw this one up for Fenner. Incomplete. Good coverage from Jalen Duffy.
Well, and you can see a nice switch up there from Granos. They were playing that soft coverage, and they were just dumping it down to Fenner, and now he dials up the pressure, goes with that mug look, and tries to get the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker, and does exactly that. It was curious there, Dom. It felt like, got 2 timeouts.
Right.
Take one, maybe.
A lot of time off the clock there, Kyle.
Yeah, you're not looking for a field goal. A field goal does nothing for you. You got to get into the end zone here and give yourself a couple chances to at least take a shot towards the end zone.
2nd down and 10. 15 seconds to go in the half. Bauman, another reception, Holden, good catch. That's Javion Phelps. He was the hero a year ago in Vermillion, caught the game-winning touchdown. He gets his first catch here.
Watch the shot Bauman takes. Oh, that's borderline, almost too low there from Keenan Wilson. Probably lucky a flag didn't come out. And that's what you're expecting to see from that veteran quarterback, standing in there delivering a strike. Again, sometimes that can happen in a 2-minute offense. You get some things clicking.
We've known that with Bauman making his 33rd straight start this afternoon for USD. It's a 3rd and 1 from the Bison 28. He wants to go for the deep ball for the end zone. Tipped and incomplete. Good coverage on Phelps. Penalty flag, though, on Shadimi Alfaro.
Well, that came all the way from the middle, Judge, too. It wasn't the ref along the sideline. That one came from right field. Tough to see from up here. I thought there was obviously some hand fighting going back and forth.
This is going to be initial signal is going to be pass interference on the Bison.
Pass interference. Defense number 6. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So they get the penalty on Crumby.
Well, and I love the decision from Bauman. Just you get the one-on-one coverage. Why not throw it up there? And this is what can happen. So they called that on the wrong guy. Clearly, though. It's not a Crumby number 6. That's a 24.
Unless there was some hold up there earlier before the play, but that's Shadimi Alfaro that was on coverage on Phelps there. So you got 4 seconds. One shot for the end zone, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason you kick a field goal here unless your goal is to not get shut out.
Well, so a timeout taken by Travis Johansson, and maybe that's exactly what they're going to talk about here.
They might talk about it.
Timeout, South Dakota.
What would you do?
Their second charge, timeout of the half. This will be a
You're at the 13-yard line.
No, you get the football to start the second half.
Shot. I mean, to me, if you're trying to make an epic comeback and try and win this game, you go for the end zone. Field goal is not going to do a lot for you. But at the same time, I would understand. Hey, we just want some type of momentum going into halftime. Maybe let's take some points, and that looks like what they're going to do.
Now, Will Leyland, the kicker, is coming on for South Dakota.
And it might be, like you said, Don, because they get the ball at halftime, they're thinking, okay, we get 3 here, maybe get the ball back after halftime and get 7.
This will be about 31 yards for Leyland. Kick is up and right between the uprights, and it's good. And that is the only thing positive for the University of South Dakota in the first half. A dominant first half for North Dakota State. They had the ball 5 times. They score 5 touchdowns and will take a 34-3 lead into the halftime locker room. Here's Sam.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Tim, you said earlier this week you wanted a fast and clean start. That's exactly what you got. What stood out to you in the first 2 quarters?
We were tremendous. These kids were ready to go. My hat goes off to the staff. Our readiness was at a first-class level. Now, can we stay humble enough to come out in the 3rd quarter and start quick as well?
I see you looking at the numbers, 18 first downs. What does that say about how Cole's running this offense?
Well, Cole himself was pretty gritty there. I thought he missed a read or 2, but his ability to keep us on the field with his feet just at a first-class level. I mean, that play before finishing a touchdown at 2-minute was remarkable.
All right, thanks, Tim. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Be sure to stick around. Proceed halftime report coming up next. Bison lead South Dakota 34-3 at the break. Halftime break. North Dakota State leads South Dakota 34-3. With homecoming this week, it's a special halftime inside of the Dome. Let's meet the newest class of the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Gold Star Marching Band entertainment time. The North Dakota State University.
8 new members joining the class of 2025, honored here at the Proceed halftime break. 34-3 lead for North Dakota State. We'll take a look at some scores from across college football in the FCS. That's coming up next on WDAY.
Back here on the Proceed Halftime Report, North Dakota State leads South Dakota 34-3 with Kyle Emanuel. I'm Dom Izzo. Kyle, the Bison Park got 391 total yards of offense in a game where we thought, hey, it could be nip and tuck, could be a close one. Bison made sure none of that was going to happen to start.
I really thought that South Dakota would show up with some energy. They got some things rolling in the last couple of weeks, but they just came in here and they ran into an absolute buzzsaw. And it might start with, I think the first one, 18 first times to just 5 is just one stat to highlight. And it started, right away with
down
Bryce
the
Lance.
field there on the long one to Bryce Lance. Start of a huge day for him. It was capped off by Barika Penu's 6th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, he just continues to run hard. Him and DJ Scott, both running back. I think they feel really good about both of them. They both had a pretty good first half, and then we see Cole Payton once again. He gets into the end zone with that nice second surge there.
Missed the extra point. That might be the one downside of what happened in the first half. They get the ball back. Penu scores his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Yeah, and this was the driver where Cole Payton really got his legs going as well, and then it led to Barika Penu. And then you see right here, it goes to his All-American Bryce Lance. He also got going in this game in a big-time way.
That made it 27-0, and then another. No one can cover him. I think we knew that. Just a matter of getting him the ball, and that happened here again.
Yeah, and this right here actually might be the play of the half. Now, obviously, they're still up 27 at this point, but the fact that they rushed 3, you got 8 guys in coverage, and he still finds a way to pick up about 19 yards on 3rd and 17 to keep that drive going.
That was capped off then later on the drive with a brilliant throw to Fargo South's Reese Kessel with his first career touchdown.
Yeah, again, and this is what you're taught as a quarterback. You see that the defender's head turn like that, you just put it right over the top of him. You know he's not going to know it's coming, and that's exactly what Cole Payton does.
Coyotes got a field goal to end the half, but it's been all Bison in the first half. As you look at the stats, again, 391 total yards of offense to South Dakota's 99 in the first half. We come back, the second half kickoff as the Bison already up big on homecoming. 34-3, second half kickoff on WDAY coming up after this.
This has been the Proceed Halftime Report.
Back here at the Fargodome, getting ready for the start of the second half. Look at our Ag Country player profile. Focuses on the sophomore from Frisco, Texas, Donovan Woolen. Already had a splash start of the season, Kyle, with a pick 6. He leads the Bison in tackles today.
Yeah, he's almost had 2 touchdowns, really. If you go back to the first game, he almost had a scoop and score. But yeah, he was one of those guys. He's lived up to the hype. We talk all the time, we're excited about this guy. We're excited about a different guy. But Donovan Woolen was one of those guys who just felt like his athleticism. And he was a large part of why people thought this defense could be even better than a year ago, despite the fact that they did lose a lot in the front 7. Him, Logan Cobb, Nathaniel Staling have really turned out to be quite the trio at linebacker.
Down to the field from Peterson Farm Seat sideline report. Here's Sam.
I just spoke with USD head coach Travis Johansson. He was quick and to the point, and he was honest, and he said it was just horrendous execution in the first half. So they got to get that cleaned up. He also wants to get the run game going so they don't become one-dimensional in this second half. Guys?
Thanks, Sam. They got something going there at the end of the first half to get that field goal most out of necessity, Kyle, with the time the way it was. We'll see what they do in the second half as they'll get the ball first. As they'll come out to the 25-yard line. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by North Dakota State University. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of North Dakota State University and Learfield. Glad you're joining us, everybody, for Bison football on this Saturday with Kyle Emanuel, Sam Getzinger, our great crew. I'm Dom Izzo. 34-3, Bison with the lead in the Missouri Valley Lifter to start conference play. Bauman 7 of 12 in the first half as they'll go to Phillips on first down. Not much there as Keenan Wilson wrapped him up about a yard out to the 26-yard line. Again, Phillips was off the radar for South Dakota. I think on their own admission, they had Charles Pierre. They had Keandre Jones-Logan coming back, and then injuries to both, and this guy is stepped up.
Yeah, it might be one of those things you just didn't know what you had until you kind of put him on the field and see what he could do. And obviously a very talented back, and they've done a lot of nice things this year, but you got guys like Keenan Wilson and Jackson Dutton ever playing like that. That was textbook right there in that first play down on how you set the edge, come off, and make a play.
Phillips had 301 rushing yards 2 weeks ago in the overtime win over Northern Colorado. He'll take the carry here, makes a nice cut up the left side. Going to be marked down just shy of first down yardage. It'll be 3rd and short.
No, and this is what you need from the zone run. Again, I've talked about this a lot. If you can get the defensive lineman running east and west rather than north and south, you create that short edge right there. You see just kind of that one cut for LJ Phillips where he can come off the table. That's a hard tackle to make off the edge if you're a defender.
Staling was in there on the stop. It's 3rd down and 1. The Coyotes 0 for 4 on 3rd down conversions in the first half. And we've got whistle here before the ball was snapped. All right, they had to reposition it. That's a first I've heard. Much of the crowd is still here. Some may have decided to enjoy homecoming a bit early at halftime. On 3rd and 1, Phillips has got a first down. He's met there. Taylor finished off, and Ryan Jones stopped him. But it's going to be a USD first down.
Yeah, and it's a good start to the half, obviously, but this is what you needed in the first half. This is really what you needed on one of your first 2 drives to kind of establish the run game. NDSU did a good job of shutting it down early. And look, we heard just Sam talk about it. They're going to keep establishing the run. I kind of liked, and I know it's not how they wanted to operate, but kind of staying in that 2-minute mode and just seeing if you can kind of capture some of that momentum that you had at the end of the first half.
First 3rd down conversion of the game comes with 13 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Bauman tipped, intercepted into the waiting arms of Staling down the sideline for a touchdown. There's a penalty flag on the play, but this could be a pick 6.
See Coach Polisic already saying, hey, we're declining it. I think he knows that this is on South Dakota and this is going to stand, and what a play. We just talked about the linebacker crew, and they team up right here. Donovan Woolen knocks it loose, and Nathaniel Staling right there takes it to the house.
Boy.
Ineligible player downfield, offense number 83. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
We've seen number 52 playing linebacker, return and play. Staling joins the party.
Well, and it was a perfect read there by Donovan Woolen of coming up and making a big-time hit, and that's what happens. He tips and overthrows and deflections right there. They're adding a 3rd one. As a defense, you got to be able to come up with those, and Staling does exactly that. And then he's off to the races.
First career interception for the Brainerd, Minnesota native, and the 2nd pick 6 of the year. The Bison are pouring it on. 12:43 to go, 3rd quarter. It's 41-3. Bison football on WDAY is brought to you by Shields, a proud partner of Bison Athletics. NDSU has its 2nd pick 6 of the year. This time from the former QB, Nathaniel Staling, with a 43-yard pick 6 to make this a 41-3 North Dakota State lead. Even when USD thought they had something offensively, it comes back to bite them on the tip play. Woolen to Staling as that goes through the back of the end zone for a touchback, as USD will come out to the 25. We'll step aside for a quick word from the Bank of North Dakota.
Get a boost in savings when you enroll with College Save. Simply opt in for College Save's match programs for newborns, kindergartners, and children up to 15 years old, with only one of them based on income. Visit collegesaveforyou.com to enroll today.
Let's go down to Sam.
Well, after that touchdown for Nathaniel Staling, he came back to the sideline, jokingly said he couldn't breathe and that he hadn't had to run like that since his quarterback days in high school. There was nobody more excited on the sideline than former linebacker Luke Wirtz, who's sitting a couple rows up from the sideline here, and he said he taught Nathaniel everything that he knows.
Thanks, Sam. Is nothing doing there. Guess who's in on the tackle? Staling leading the way. It's ironic, Wirtz, to say that because Wirtz playing was blocking Staling's path to the field.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hearing about Nathaniel Staling forever. I know defensive coordinator Grant Olson, linebackers coach, he's been talking about him for a long time. He had some veterans there, Luke Wirtz and Nick Kubitz, and hey, I guess you have a guy in your room for that long, you can make that claim. Hey, I taught him everything he knows. I don't know, some of that athletic ability though might be God-given.
He was the second commit of the recruiting class 3 years ago. He and Austin Altepeter out of Morad were the first couple, as here is Bauman deep and incomplete, trying to hit Lorenzo Fenner down the field. Shadime Alfaro was down there in coverage. It'll be 3rd and long. Not the day Aiden Bauman was envisioning of coming back inside this building.
No, it's just, you know, it's surprising, but it's not. Again, he has pressure in his face, so he has to just basically float this one up. But it's the way that, you know, this ball game has kind of played out. And again, it's so weird to think this was a team we were thinking, you know, they have national title hopes, but it's hard to, you know, account for how many people they lost.
No.
They really did. Again, and no one's going to feel sorry for him, but
right.
it is what it is.
That's his 5th interception already this season, Kyle. 5 touchdowns, 5 picks for Bauman. Here's 3rd and 11. Under pressure, dodges that, throws it incomplete. Kopp was in the area. He was trying to hit Whitty, and it's going to be 4th down.
Well, and he had Jack Martins over the middle, but you see a good job there by Dutenheffer, and I believe that's Toby Anene coming off the pressure, and he was never able to get back over to the middle of the field because of that pressure right in his face. And probably say that for most of the passes so far to this day, this defensive line did a nice job at least affecting the quarterback.
Tyler Ebel will punt for the 5th time today, averaging about 48 yards per punt. His longest was 57. That was a boomer that they thought the Bison were pinned at the 5-yard line, and NDSU turned that into a 95-yard scoring drive as Williams backpedaling to the 20-yard line. Evades one, still on his feet. Makes a man miss up the sideline before he's finally brought down out to the 41-yard line. Good tackle from Jaden Brown, and that's where the Bison offense will get its first possession of the second half, leading it 41-3. Is brought to you by Sanford. We deliver exceptional health care, here for all, here for good. Sanford Health. 11:37 remaining 3rd quarter. Bison offense will get its first time with the football. Up 41-3 as Cole Payton comes back out. Payton's first half numbers, Kyle, 12 of 15, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, 72 rushing yards and a touchdown. Other than that, he was just okay. As they'll go to Barika Penu on 1st down as he gets nearly 5. And the Bison offense through 3 games plus, 38, 59, 41, and they've got 41 points against Bison as a team, what they've put up in the first 3 plus games.
And it was good through game 1. It got a little better through game 2. I mean, I thought SEMO did some nice things, at least to slow down the run game and, you know, hold them to only 41. But it's just, it's just all over the field. You got running backs, tight end, wide receivers, all kinds of weapons.
They'll do a little end around. Oh, some trickeration as Payton will hit Penu out of the flat. Look at Barika cut back in, and Penu's got a head of steam. Got a block as well down the field. Look at that play, some razzle dazzle. Gets the Bison down to the USD 25.
Well, and this is where you want to put something on film, right? Show teams we're willing to call a trick play. We're willing to do some different things, and kind of a lot. It looked like for maybe nothing or maybe 2 or 3 yards, but Barika Penu does a nice job of weaving around.
They'll give it right back to Barika here on 1st down as he's able to get out to the 19 and pick up 6. And that was the thing I was going to ask you about during commercial break. We talked about off the top. There's no other Valley teams playing. South Dakota State's playing a non-league game. That everybody else is watching this, and I'm curious what the rest of the league is observing here today.
Yeah, because I think there was still a little bit, probably not much, but a little bit of question. Okay, is NDSU actually for real? I know.
How good is this guy?
Yeah, right. How good is this team? And then what they're doing here today, I think they've kind of put an end to that conversation.
Minot's Logan Conklin to the top of your screen. DJ Scott is the tailback. He'll get the carry on 2nd down. Cuts back inside. He's got a 1st down right at the marker at the 15-yard line. Mo Newsom was there on the tackle for USD.
And another 1st down here for NDSU. But go back to that trick play. I'd be curious to ask the coaches, because to me, I remember as a player, as soon as a team puts a trick play on film, it's like you study that, you rep it, you practice it. You're like, hey, we got to be ready for something like this, or know that now you got to go back in the history books and kind of see what Tim Polasek has called it before. But I think it's interesting to put that on film.
Scott gets the carry on 1st down, driving the legs forward into that pile. And he'll get out to the 10-yard line. DJ transferred here, as we mentioned earlier in the season, from Kennesaw State. Barely gotten game action and comes here with 3 years of eligibility. And we've seen the ability for him to catch the football out of the backfield. He's got some burst to him, too.
Yeah, he's been a nice 1-2 punch with Barika Penu. I think both guys, again, talked about it a ton so far earlier in this year, how hard they've run. We talk about with LJ Phillips, and obviously kind of built a little bit differently, but both guys, tough to bring down, typically don't go down on first contact.
Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 as Penu is back in. He'll get the carry off the left side. That play blown up there. Good defense from South Dakota. Dickel came in there to make the tackle. It'll set up 3rd down, and Penu a little slow to get up.
Yeah, they try the split zone action. You called it down right there. Dickel does a really good job of defeating his block into the backfield and at least giving his team a shot here down in the red zone, which again we talked about in the first half. Coming into this game had been phenomenal with a lot of goal line stands in that Northern Colorado game to come up with a victory. Not so much here today, though.
Yeah, the Coyote defense needed a 3rd down stand at the end of regulation just to force UNC into a field goal to get that game to overtime. Penu out, Owen Johnson in on 3rd down and 6. Peyton looking Bryce Lance's way, will go short, and Raja Nelson dropped it right through the hands of Nelson. And that might be the first thing that's gone wrong offensively today.
Yeah, that was I mean, you have to be very nitpicky to talk about what went wrong with this team through 3 games. And that was maybe one. You know, Bryce Lance had a couple of drops. I think there was a few others, but outside of that, not a whole lot to complain about if you're a Bison fan.
This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt for Eli Ozick. Kick is up. And this is good. And the Bison have extended their lead. 7:39 remaining, 3rd quarter. North Dakota State leads South Dakota 44-3. North Dakota State with a lead on South Dakota. Look at the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 8 plays, 49 yards, 3 minutes and 58 seconds off the clock. Ozick connects on his 5th field goal of the season, that from 29 yards out to make this now a 41-point Bison lead. It's been thoroughly dominant on both sides today. Offense going to get a lot of credit, well they should, but defensively the Bison have totally taken South Dakota out of its element here today. As we go back up to the broadcast booth with Kyle Emanuel, I'm Dom Izzo. This is a statement. I mean, the Bison are going to go on the road next week. Illinois State's sitting there watching this game, and Brock Spack knows full well about the Bison, but this has been impressive.
Yeah, as a Valley, you're thinking, okay, they lost some guys, and maybe this is the year like we can, you know, we'll see what we get from NDSU. The Cam Miller's no longer there, but as an analyst, there's not a whole lot to complain about right here for NDSU. Both sides of the ball have just been dominant through 3 games, and then obviously continue that here today.
For South Dakota, they have 3 of their next 4 on the road, counting this game here. So the tough part of the Valley is they go on the road to start here.
Yeah, it's obviously they still want to make the playoffs, but it's going to they still got a lot of tough games ahead of them.
And they still have UND and SDSU are coming 2 for $1,000,000 later in the season. As Phillips gets the carry on 1st down. Again, it's game 1, and a season is not made in September, but it certainly can go on. They're going to have 3 losses here, Kyle.
Yeah.
And with granted, with the expanded playoff bracket to 24, you could. It's 8-4, 7-5, but man, that means you got to start ranking up some wins.
For sure. Obviously, you have to put the wins on the board. If I'm Travis Johansson, I'm telling my team, look, 2 of our losses are Iowa State, who's ranked in the FBS, and North Dakota State, who's number 1 in the FCS. Okay, so let's put those to bed and let's try to rack up some wins. We still got a chance here for the rest of this season.
With this guy at quarterback, you think they have to have some potential here on a 2nd down as they sling that to the outside to Tennell Bryant. Brought down Peter Haugo getting the tackle there. Haugo getting some reps today with Ray James out of the lineup with a shoulder injury. Fargo North standout who won a state championship on this football field. Last year we saw him carrying the ball. Now he's making tackles at linebacker.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife. You know, it's kind of curious. Do they keep him at running back? Actually had some nice flashes, some nice bursts a year ago at running back position, but just a football player lining up, linebacker, running back, whatever it is, and can usually get the job done.
A lot of pride for the Fargo schools today, seeing Fargo North and Fargo South represented here for the Bison. Here's a 3rd down and 1. Out of the backfield, they swing this. That's to Carson Fletcher, the backup running back, who breaks free down the sideline, and there's the best offensive play by a long shot. Givens was in on the stop, but Fletcher breaks free. He gets all the way down to the 20.
Well, and this is the last thing you want to see. You start to bring in a couple. Now there's still a lot of starters out on the field, but the last thing you want to see if you're Grant Olson, the defensive coordinator, is you put in a couple different guys, and now all of a sudden South Dakota's marching down the field.
That's a gain of 46 to Fletcher. His first reception of the season came in with just 9 carries, as USD is into the red zone for the first time in this football game at the 20-yard line. A fake here. This is a broken play, and Bauman just has to get rid of it. Haugo was there, and their late penalty flag well after the play, after Haugo was on top of Bauman.
Intentional grounding, offense number 2.
Wow.
This is a spot foul with a loss of down.
See, I thought they were actually going to get him for maybe hitting the quarterback late, Kyle.
Yeah, I was with you, Dom. I didn't see anything. I was, kind of waiting for the replay to see, maybe Peter Haugo hit him a little bit late, and obviously Johansson's arguing that there's someone in the vicinity. Let's take a look.
There's nobody there.
There's no one there, and he's still within the pocket as well. I think that's a good call there from the white hat.
So again, something positive happens for USD, and then 1 step forward and 2 steps back with the penalty and the loss of down. It's second now and 22 from the Bison 32. They'll keep it with Fletcher. Tries to cut up, and a host of Bison there led by Haugo. Wrapped up on the play. Givens was in there on the stop as well.
And why not go back to Fletcher? And kind of a unique formation. They line up offset LJ Phillips, and again, just trying to do something different, try to get to the edge a little bit. It looked like he might have had it seen for a while, and that was cut down pretty quickly by that Bison defense.
Be interesting to see how long Ray James is out. James flashed earlier in the season in that backup Sam linebacker spot for North Dakota State. Out with a shoulder injury. It's a separate shoulder. He played with a torn labrum all of last year on the practice squad. It's a gain of 6. It's 3rd and 16 for Bauman. Goes over the middle. Phillips makes the catch. Bounces off a guy. He's going to be short of the first down. The ball came loose. They're going to say he's down. It'll be 4th down for South Dakota.
And Phillips is pointing. I think he wants to go. We'll see. It looks like, South Dakota's going to go for it here on 4th down. Good job here by Bauman of getting rid of it again. Let's take a look at this. The ball looked like it was moving right there, but I think he's secured. He was down.
4th down and 6 from the Bison 16-yard line. Fenner to the bottom of your screen. With Tyson Bowes to the top. Bauman scrambles. He's got Whitty in the flat. He falls down, though, short of the first down. Are they going to give it to him? I thought he was short. He is short. And it's going to be Bison ball out of that. Whitty was open, but couldn't keep his feet.
Well, this looked like a for sure first down. Whitty, a big guy, 6'6", 250, and you can see he just loses his feet right there. Looked like he might have had a surge to get past Haugo and get just enough for the first down, but just unfortunately loses his footing and turnover on downs.
If that doesn't typify the day for South Dakota, nothing will, Kyle.
Well, and we talked about the turnovers coming into this game. They have a turnover in every single ball game now. At this point, if you're South Dakota, it was a really big issue. And multiple turnovers in the first couple of games. Got it down to 1, and then obviously that's not the story of this ball game. There's a lot more, but that's another thing that they're going to have to address and try and take care of the ball moving forward.
So the Bison offense comes back out with 3:55 remaining in the 3rd as Peyton will toss to Penu, who gets up the field, brought down from behind. Good tackle on that play from Crawford. He's able to swarm on Penu, who got about 4 yards.
Yeah, trying this G scheme play where you're pulling out center and near guard, trying to get outside. I thought Caden Crawford did a really nice job there, kind of standing up. That's what you want to do. Force that running back to bounce just a little bit. It allows you to get a little bit more time, but at the same time, if you're NDSU, you'll take 3 or 4 yards at first down.
2nd and 6 from the 16-yard line as Peyton wants to throw under pressure here. Evades a guy still on his feet. Wide open down the field is Raja Nelson. again creates it, then a late penalty flag thrown in. Second flag comes in. You know, Mark Nelson down at the 45. And we'll see what the marker's about here.
Well, it came right as he was getting tackled. It makes me wonder, is this a targeting?
The tackle was up high.
Yeah, and you saw Raja Nelson kind of tap his hat as well. Just another case of Cole Payton, though, buying time. And,
well, again, one arm is not going to bring him down, right?
Yeah, and you can only cover for so long. I mean, you hear coaches say it all the time. You can't sit back there and expect guys to be covered for 10, 15 seconds downfield when you have a guy like Cole Payton running around and doing that. Eventually, someone is going to come open. That's what Raja Nelson did. Having a long conversation about this one.
Grant Henderson will tell us.
Personal foul, blindside block. Offense number 18. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. The result of the play results in a first down.
It's a penalty on Jackson Williams for a blindside block. That's why the penalty flag was so late there, Kyle.
Yeah,
the block was thrown there.
You know, interesting because Travis Johansson almost looked like he wasn't.
That's it.
Yeah, to me that was almost more of a block in the back. But either way, I think that's flag was probably warranted. Did come very, very late in that play. So that it's almost looked like it could have been something else.
On all that, it is a new set of downs. And Payton again converts on third down. As on first down, here's DJ Scott. You can see how upright he runs as he gets out to the 36-yard line before Dixon made the tackle. Sam mentioned the Bison will hit the road next week. For the second year in a row, they go to normal. It's a scheduling quirk where the Missouri Valley, North Dakota State asked to get UND and SDSU off the home schedule together. So the byproduct of that, and with Missouri State leaving the conference, is the Bison have to go to normal for 2 years in a row. They go back to Scott on the outside here. DJ dragging a couple guys with him. It's a night game. We know how that game went last year. Illinois State has not beaten the Bison since 2010.
Crazy. I mean, they've had obviously some very good teams going back to my day, playing them in the national championship, and obviously Brock Spack, one of the kind of a legend at this point in the Missouri Valley with how long he's been around.
He's the longest tenured now with Mark Farley stepping down.
Very curious to see how, that'll be an interesting one. Like you said, on the road, night game, got to sit around for a long time and see.
Redbirds are 3-1. Talk plenty about them as the week goes on. Here's a third down as Payton evades it. He's got a first down and then some. A lot of green grass. Payton to the outside and pushed out of bounds. What a day for the Omaha Kid.
Oh, and this is what I was talking about earlier, Dom, when you can't see it right here on this view, but you go zone coverage, you got more eyes on the quarterback. You can see right there, every single defender there for this Coyote defense had their eyes turned and on their man, and once Cole Payton breaks out to the outside, I mean, there was just nothing but green grass in front of him, and yet another easy first down for him to pick up with his legs.
30 yards. He's now gone over 100 yards rushing today with that. 11 carries, 102 yards to go with 273 and 2 through the air. You thought the last time out he played he was good. Here's Owen Johnson getting the carries, brought down by Crawford. And that's the riddle now for defenses going forward, is what they want to try and stop with this Bison offense.
He just keeps building and building upon it. You're right. I mean, we saw Simo do a pretty good job for the most part. I think the stats still said NDSU ran the ball okay, but for the most part, stacking the box, doing it. They did a lot of line stunts, twists, different things to take away the run game, and all Cole Payton did was go over 340 yards on the. So it's as a defensive coordinator, it's not fun to try and scheme up against this guy.
On 2nd and 7, but we have whistles and flags before the ball is snapped. Looked like Magan may have moved.
Full start. Offense number 75.
It was Josh Magan.
5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Converted defensive lineman from Shakopee, Minnesota. Came here as a D lineman, and a couple years in made the switch and starting his 4th career game at right tackle. Never played offense in his life until he got here.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. There's a couple of guys when I was playing as well. You that converted from defensive line to offensive line. It's not unheard of, but obviously difficult, and you got to be a really good athlete to be able to do it. And Megan's done a nice job, I think, of getting better and better.
That's the end of the third quarter. North Dakota State on its way to a conference opening win. At the end of 3, it's North Dakota State 44, South Dakota 3. Fourth quarter is coming up. You're watching Bison football on WDAY. Fourth quarter inside Gate City Bank Field at the Fargodome with Kyle Emanuel, Sam Getzinger, our talented and great WDAY crew. I'm Dom Izzo. North Dakota State on homecoming up 44-3 as Nathan Hayes is coming to the game at quarterback for North Dakota State. Cole Payton's day is done through 3 quarters, and that was about as impressive a 3 quarters of football as we've seen here.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, especially going back to that first half, you know, saying, oh, offense only scored a field goal in that third quarter and they're doing something wrong, obviously, with the pick 6. But yeah, it was efficient. It was about everything you could.
He still made another play with his legs in that quarter.
Any adjective you want to throw at it, again, it's, as an analyst, you're always trying to find something. It's not a lot. It's not a lot to critique so far for NDSU through almost 4 games.
Hayes has played in all 4 games. That tells you exactly how the Bison have gone this year for the 6'3", 219-pound junior out of St. Charles, Illinois. He'll sling it here on second down. That one knocked away, and we got a penalty flag in the area, trying to hit Bryce Lance. Coverage there from R.J. Stewart.
Yeah, I think R.J. Stewart basically just wrapped him up there, trying to get a little comeback route there to Bryce Lance, and got tangled up. And I think it was a pretty easy penalty.
Pass interference, defense number 25. This will be a spot foul and an automatic first down.
You know, going back to what South Dakota has schedule-wise, there's also this caveat with it too, Kyle. They play 12 straight weeks. Their bye week is the final game week of the season. So there's a grind in itself that you don't even have time to maybe, you know, self-scout, evaluate where you're at. There is no rest for the weary here.
You'd love a reset, right?
Yeah.
You would love a reset
to
to
like
go
this.
back and look at things and try and dial up something different. But yeah, you're right. They don't have that luxury.
Their bye week falls in the final week of November before the postseason begins, as Penu with a nice cutback drives his way forward, and they'll get to the 15-yard line. Picked up 5 before he's brought down. Ewell with a tackle. Good to see Nate back in the game.
And I'm sure someone could explain to me why that I mean, it just doesn't make. I know South Dakota State had the same thing a couple of years ago. Well, they ended up, I believe, getting a double bye.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they had to bye into the playoffs, and it just, I mean, if you're Travis Johandy, it just doesn't make a ton of sense. But unfortunately, you just got to kind of play the.
He was acutely aware of it when we were at Missouri Valley Media Day back in July in Sioux Falls, knowing full well that they practice that way during fall camp, but this is a slog for sure as the Bison are into the red zone. Look at Penu, spins his way forward. Boy, he was met about 3 yards before he actually goes down.
Yeah, and take a look at this jump cut right there, and then the spin, and then the balance.
Right.
Timeout for an injured player.
South Dakota's Carter Hooper looks like he's down on the field here. We're going to time out with 13:20 to go in the game. Bison in control, up 44-3. Bison football is brought to you by Shields. Be sure to stop by Shields for all your hunting needs this fall. Hooper was able to walk off under his own power after that play. It's a 3rd down and 1 from the USD 11. Kocat, the fullback, with Scott, the tailback, leading the way forward there off the right side. You're right at the first down marker. That'll be good enough for a Bison first down, as Brumfield was in there on the tackle for USD.
Yeah, you can see him get stopped there initially, but then once again, keep pushing there from the offensive line. Nice job by DJ Scott of keeping his feet moving, and gets just enough to move the chains.
Scott, who scored a couple of touchdowns, got out of the end zone against the Citadel and against Tennessee State to open the season. From Oviedo, Florida, Great high school football program down there in the Sunshine State. On first down and goal to go. Little end around on this one at Jackson Williams. Touchdown, North Dakota State. Another Omaha score for the Bison.
Well, we talked about Adama on his first catch. Haven't seen a ton from him offensively, but you knew that the capability was there, and you kind of wondered when maybe his breakout offensive game was going to be. And obviously, there's still a lot more left in the tank. But you see his ability as a returner. He's constantly getting away from guys, and just a guy you want to get the ball in his hands in space like they just did on that touchdown run right there.
Again, get lost in the shuffle when you have Bryce Lance, when you have Raja Nelson, when you have Makai Collins, and you have Chris Harris. Oh yeah, there's that guy. And then Reese Kessel has emerged as a downfield threat. This guy was a Missouri Valley all-newcomer team last season as Ozick bangs through the extra point. And for the second time this year, the Bison have hit half 100. 12:23 to go in the football game. North Dakota State leads it 51-3. Batman into the end zone for the first time this season in the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 11 plays, 88 yards, 6 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock. Jackson Williams on a 9-yard jet sweep to make this 51-3 in favor of North Dakota State. You had a sense the Bison had an edge to them, certainly what Tim Polasek was talking about even last week in the bye week press conference, that they were not going to take South Dakota lightly. I don't think they did last season, but certainly the Coyotes were energized for that game, and they earned a share of the Valley Championship by beating NDSU the way they did, and they have not messed around here today. Stay tuned, everybody, for the Nodak Insurance Company Player of the Game. We'll select that before we get out of here on this Saturday afternoon, but there was no overlooking. There was none of that here today.
Yeah, there wasn't going to be. It didn't matter how the season started for South Dakota. Again, the way that ended a year ago, the way that, again, you want to play to a standard. I think that's what this coaching staff expects. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You want to see improvement week to week.
Bauman's still in there at quarterback. They'll give it to Reed Watkins, the backup tailback for USD, as he gets out to the 29-yard line. Zach Vanderpool in there on the tackle for NDSU.
Yeah, a little curious that he's still in the game. I mean, to me, I'm thinking, okay, the way that this game has gone, we are already starting to look to the next week, and we want to have some type of momentum. Similar to what we were talking about at the end of the first half. You just want something to go good. Well, you want that too for your offense. Give them a little confidence so you can, kind of go in with some momentum for the rest of this Valley schedule.
One thing is you don't want to get the guy hurt here, especially with 11 minutes to go in the game. Bauman hangs in there, wants the deep ball down the field for Phelps, and he's got him. No, excuse me, on that one is Tennell Bryan who comes up with a big play. Bryan, who just one reception coming in, picks up his second, and it's a biggie.
And it's another little bit of a floater. I mean, he has him wide open, and this ball kind of floated there, and Phelps had to wait for it to kind of fall underneath it. Not the crispest of throws, but again, right, Dom, this is twofold, right? Obviously you don't want to get your starters hurt, but you also want to get some of the confidence in throws like that, or at least production like that is a good start.
It's a gain of 42. Bryan has 2 pass receptions this year. One went for 48. The other goes for 42 for the Arkansas State transfer. So we're under 11 minutes to go. Watkins, nice little spin move there for the redshirt freshman. Came in with 96 rushing yards on the season. Najee Nelson in there on the tackle for NDSU.
Yeah, really good recognition of seeing, again, defensive line coming hard down the field, recognizing that cutback. Another guy probably thrust into action maybe a little bit more than he was thinking coming into this season, but looking at some of the film, another guy I think they could be excited about in that backfield.
That's a special number at South Dakota. Travis Tice wore that number for the last 5 years. Tice now playing in the Canadian Football League with the Montreal Alouettes and has had a really nice rookie season in the CFL. Here to the outside, Watkins with some room. He'll get pushed out of bounds by Taylor. They'll mark him out at the 11-yard line. That's a gain of 13 and a USD first down.
Oh, yeah, and again, Watkins recognizing it's easy, right? This is just football 101. There's no one on the edge. Just keep going until someone forces you to turn back. Just nothing there for NDSU defensively, and Watkins takes advantage.
Coyotes into the red zone. They're back home in Vermilion next week. Murray State will be on the Coyotes docket as everybody hops into the pool with conference play next week. From the 11, go right back to Watkins, who cut up through the middle there, got about a couple. Elijah Wayne looked like he was the first to bring him down. Will Stile looked like he was in there as well.
Yeah, you're right. Right there, Will Stile, a guy who's been really good on special teams, does a nice job of just knifing in there and fitting his gap and keeping that to a minimal gain.
Now this is game 4, Kyle. Wayne has played all 4, but I've been told the red shirt is off. The young man is playing this season. What we've seen out of number 54 at D tackle, I think he has commanded that he needs to play.
Yeah, I think it makes sense the way that he's kind of shown up so far early in the season.
2nd down and 9 from the Bison 10. Bauman, look how far back he drops, goes to the end zone, just threw that one away. Going to be 3rd down. Penalty flag has been thrown. I can't hear what Grant Henderson's trying to tell us. He picked up a flag here, so it's going to be 3rd down. There's the penalty flag.
I think this is going to be another intentional grounding.
I think so.
No one in the area.
Yeah. You can see the look of disgust on Travis Johansson's face. All you need to know about how this game has gone for South Dakota.
Intentional grounding, offense number 2. This is a spot foul with a loss of down. It is 3rd down.
Again, there was no one there, Kyle.
Well,
is he out of the pocket?
Well, and this drop is so curious.
Right.
I don't. Maybe he just knew NDSU brought more than that they could protect. But that's a kind of drop you usually see on a screen pass, and you're right. He just kind of throws it away, still within the pocket, and no one in the area. Probably more intentional groundings you're typically going to see.
That's 3 we've seen in this football game here today. So after the spot foul, will push USD back to the 25-yard line. Now it's 3rd and a mile at 3rd and 24 on our First Western Bank down in distance. Bauman, down he goes for a sack. Wayne was in there. We were just talking about him. And it's going to be 4th down.
Well, that's what you don't want to see is Bauman get up limping a little bit. But yeah, they went tight coverage on the outside. You see Elijah Wayne right there, just a little bit of move. And then I think that's Victor Isley as well. 97 coming off the edge. A couple different Bison had a shot at him. And they push it again in the drive. You're trying to get something positive, trying to get in the end zone. And now all of a sudden you're backed up.
Now you've gone 22 yards in the wrong direction here on back-to-back plays to make it 4th and 32. And you're right, Bauman was a little gimpy there coming up after that play. Timeout is going to be taken by South Dakota with 8:12 remaining. And we'll take a break with them. 8:12 to go in the game. 4th down coming up. Bison up 51-3. Back here live to the Dome. Stay tuned. We wrap things up for Bison Postgame Live. Press conferences with Tim Polasek and the Bison players coming up on WDY Plus at Inforum.com when we're done. USD is elected to attempt a field goal here. Leyland in, or Zeke Mon, excuse me, in. This is going to be from 51 yards out. Kick is up and off the upright and through. Mana delivers from 51 yards out, and USD just a quick smile there from the kicker to make it 51-6 with 8:06 to go in the game. We mentioned his Hall of Fame weekend. Sam Getzinger standing by with one of the new Hall of Famers.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I found one of the busiest men in Fargo this week, Craig Dahl. Craig, congratulations on the Hall of Fame honor. I got to get your thoughts. You're great. And what have you seen from the Bison here today in this performance?
I mean, they came out and they made it a statement from the beginning. The offense marched down, controlled the ball, scored first 2 possessions pretty easily, and the defense came up with big stops. And then we got pick 6 out there. That was That was a great play, too. Of course, I'm a defensive player, so when we score, I'm extra excited about that.
Well, of course, you're here for the Hall of Fame ceremony that have happened over the last couple of days. You told us on Bison Game Day what it was like to get the phone call saying that you're in the Hall of Fame. What has this week been like for you?
It's been great, just connecting with old friends that I haven't seen. A lot of people still with the Bison here in Fargo I hadn't seen, so it's great to see them here.
Give us an update on what life has been for you since your time with the NFL is doing it.
Life's been great. I got 2 young kids, so they're heavily in football and baseball right now, so following around, coaching, help coaching their sports, and just enjoying that family time now.
Greg, I appreciate it. Congratulations on the honor, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Greg Dahl joining us here in the fourth quarter. Don, back up to you.
Thanks, Sam. That's a guy, I wrote about it today on Inforum that there have been plenty of Bison that played in the National Football League. You're one of them, but he was the first out of the Division I ranks to make it. A year after playing here, he was playing against Tom Brady,
right?
And they beat the Patriots, the team that was unbeaten, to go and win the Super Bowl that year.
Just him and Nick Schomer kind of started a long line of just really dominant Bison safeties, and obviously had a great NFL career. To play 9 years is an accomplishment. It really is, and so an all-time Bison great, and rightfully now in the Hall of Fame.
Just going to say here is some of the Bison backups in as Owen Johnson will get the carry. There's going to be a log jam in this Hall of Fame of trying to get football players in after this. We've just now started the Division I run. I got to imagine Steve Walker has got to be up pretty darn soon. And then to your era, holy cow, that's going to be quite the run soon.
It'll be interesting. I played with so many great players, and then obviously there were so many that came after me as well. And I have no idea what the selection process is like. It seems like it's usually at most one football player. So yeah, it'll be a lot of good Bison football teams starting to get kind of aged a little bit. And it's been quite some time since that first Division I championship already.
Hand off here on 2nd down and 8. See a handful of the Bison backups in. That's Cortez LeGrant getting the carry. LeGrant transferred in from University of Minnesota out of Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Came in with 11 carries so far on the season. Let's see, Noah Stummis now in for the Bison on their offensive line. Big number 78, can't miss him up front. Schneckloth in there. Gage Schmidt, number 61. These are some valuable reps that Tim Polisic would tell you about to get some of his 2s and 3s to get a chance to get into the football game. 3rd down and 5. Hayes flushed out here, will throw. That one, how did he catch that? Of course, Kessel came up with the football. It's going to be, I think, for no gain on the play, and it's going to be 4th down.
Shortest reception of his career. Yeah,
right?
Kind of dangerous here. Almost looked like
Ewell was right there.
Yeah, almost looked like Ewell was going to come up with that one. All he does is catch ball.
Yeah.
Just catch the balls that are thrown his way.
His yards per catch is going to go plummeting down after that. For the first time today, we can call Aaron Bickerton's name, the punter. The Bison have not done that today. For the junior from England, by way of Howard University, transferred in last year. And we'll get some whistles here before the ball is snapped.
5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
While we have a moment, just want to give a quick shout out and well wishes to our Vice President of Broadcast, our guy Josh Rohr, who's been feeling under the weather this week. We know he's watching today. We miss you. We can't wait to see you back inside the building at WDAY in the not too distant future. That's from our entire broadcast team here today. After the penalty, it is a 4th down from the 36, and another whistle. Get another penalty flag thrown here. May have some movement up front.
False start. Offense, number 48. 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
So the penalty, that was on Bowers, the long snapper. You can see Polisic dropping the head, always coaching. Special teams is a close spot to his heart, as you well know from your playing days.
Former special teams coordinator.
Bickerton Good drive here as Martin signals a fair catch. Good punt from Bickerton all the way back to the 20-yard line. And that's where USD will go to work with 5:34 remaining in the game. Aiden Bauman trotting back out onto the field. We'll go down to the field with Sam.
Hey, thanks, Tom. I found the other busiest man in Fargo now that he's retired. Randy Hedberg still keeping busy. Randy, I got to get to how things have been going so far for you since you've been enjoying the retired life.
Very busy, traveling around, going to a lot of different games, going to a lot of different venues to watch games. So it's been fun. Continue to do it as we go through.
I know you've been keeping your eye on what these Bison quarterbacks have done. We've seen back-to-back weeks of Cole Payton just light it up. I had a feeling you knew this was coming for Cole.
Yeah, well, there's no question. You know, and I told Dom upstairs numerous times that the guy could throw the ball, and he's proven that this year, and I think he's had a tremendous start to the season, and we're looking forward to watching him go.
Hey, thanks, Randy. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of the game and enjoy homecoming week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Don, back up to you.
Somebody check that guy's credentials anyway. How did he get in the building? He did tell me. I asked him plenty, as you saw that big tackle from Alante Burley. Nice to see him get a big play. He was away from the team last year, now back, comes up with a TFL. But that is the overarching. We heard Tom Matukowicz, the SEMO coach, say it last week or 2 weeks ago in the post-game press conference. They didn't think he could throw the deep ball, and I don't think that was necessarily a crazy thought around FCS. There's a nice catch from Martins down the field as he gets knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. I think that's over, though. Yeah. There's no more question marks on that.
I guess when a guy like Randy Hedberg tells you something, you should just probably believe it. You know, I'm with you, but I've said it too. I mean, I think everyone said this so many times. Like, everyone knew he was capable of throwing the ball, but it was okay. Now it's live action. Now you're the guy. There's no more subbing in and out with Kamala. You're the guy. What's it going to look like on 2 minutes? What's it going to look like when the running game gets slowed down? What's the tight windows, the balls downfield, the intermediate throws, all of it. And I think he's shown that he can do every single thing you want out of a quarterback.
Well, keep it on the ground. Leaping through on that one was Watkins. I'm just going to raise my arm up and ask, are you surprised Bauman's still in the game?
I am. Yeah, I am. I mean, I was trying to give a little bit of a reason of why you might see it. And I guess I'll just stick with it. I think, let's be honest, he has struggled to start this year, and that's not what obviously anyone expected from a guy with his talent and with his experience. And I
mean, all of USD's number ones are still in the game.
That's right.
Here.
I think because of the way he struggled, because this offense has struggled, it's like we use this as practice reps at this point, and we need every possible rep we can get to try and get this offense clicking.
On a 2nd down and 4. This is Bryant off the right side. Here's Terrell Bryant. Nice move. He fumbled the ball. It came loose at the end. Johnny on the spot was Watkins to cover it. All the way down to the 24-yard line. It's a gain of 24. Bryant has been shown the ability to get loose and make plays like this.
Yeah, you're right. We were talking about Keandre Jones-Logan now. He's no longer playing, and it looks like Bryant's kind of doing a nice job of filling that role a little bit when we've seen him get the ball in his hands, showing some really nice explosiveness and getting downfield.
2:45 remaining. Coyotes looking to get to the end zone for the first time on this Saturday. Watkins up the middle. Good tackle. Was wrapped up by Noah Taylor. Young man out of Illinois. Under that linebacker spot. $18,593 at attendance here. Sellout crowd on this Saturday. They had plenty to cheer about to start. Bison got the ball first, went right down and scored. Had 34 first half points here against South Dakota today. Watkins makes a man miss, cuts back inside. They'll bring him down at the 12-yard line, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute timeout. Bison on their way to a 4th straight win to open up 2025 and to start conference play with an emphatic win. Back to wrap it up after this. Back inside Gate City Bank Field of the Fargodome, 1:55 to go. North Dakota State on its way to a 4th straight win to open up the season. South Dakota with a 1st down and 10. The Bison 11 inside the ready red zone with their starting unit still in the game. They go back on the inside toss play here. As that run from Carson Fletcher had a big run earlier, the freshman out of Racine, Wisconsin, brought down by Chance Simons, the rodeo man out of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. It will be an interesting discussion, I think, with Travis Johansson, the USD coach, about the decision here. I'm a little perplexed, to be honest with you.
I got to assume it's everything I just explained.
Yeah.
We're just trying to find something by the end of the game.
2nd down and 3 from the Bison 4. They'll go back to Fletcher, bounces in, and he's in for a touchdown. USD finally gets on the board here with 1:11 remaining for the freshman, his first career score.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that starting unit does a really good job of getting a push against that second team Bison defensive line, and USD finally, they got a little sigh of relief. They finally get in the end zone. You could tell how badly they wanted to get in there, and they finally made it happen.
Just 2 field goals previous to that. That's just the 3rd touchdown allowed by the Bison all season long. Extra point is up and good from Will Leyland. It's named the Nodak Insurance Company Player of the Game. What a day it was offensively, but we're going to highlight a defensive guy today, which will make you smile. Brainerd, Minnesota's Nathaniel Staling. Big day tackle-wise, and obviously, Kyle, the big pick 6 in the second half.
Yeah, and he's got to give, the guy right in front of him, Donovan Wool, number 1, got to give him a big thanks for that kind of gift wrapping this touchdown as there's no one in front of him. But yeah, obviously you got to be there. He's been a guy that, you look at the stats almost every single game. Him, Wool, and Cobb, they're always there at the top making plays, leading the team in tackles, and there he was, Johnny on the spot to take that one to the house. One of the best feelings you can have as a defender. Finally get the ball in your hands and then to take it all the way to the house.
5 tackles, 1 TFL, obviously the pick 6. Big day for him, a lot of smiles. You'll hear from him coming up on Bison Post Game Live in 1:11 of game time. Bison, we mentioned, will be heading to Illinois State next week. And then the schedule turns in October. 3 of the 4 games in the month of October, Kyle, will be on the road for NDSU. This is a short kickoff here. Be scooped up. True freshman Chris Keel came up with that, who's got some running room here. Still on his feet is Keel. Nice return as he gets brought down. As that's where the Bison will start at the 39-yard line. But next month, it's a trip to Normal, along with a trip to Terre Haute, and then the end of the month, likely with a primetime game in Brookings.
Yeah, going to be nationally televised, right? ESPN going to be spotlighting that game again, and that's still I think.
Well, we were in Terre Haute a couple years ago, and that game scared the heck out of the Bison.
Can't overlook that. Now Indiana State looks pretty down. I think Montana hung 60 on them a week ago, but can't overlook anyone in the Valley. I think most NDSU players will tell you that, no matter who you're playing. But yes, that South Dakota State game once again. And again, people kind of maybe question with everything that they lost. We talk a lot about what South Dakota lost, everything they lost in the portal, and their head coach Jimmy Rogers obviously going to Washington State. Was what was South Dakota State going to be like this year? And obviously they've done a really good job of recruiting, developing, and they look to be right there at the top with their victory over Montana State a couple weeks ago.
26, Brady Wobnernick, the ball carrier.
Brady Wobnernick got in there for a carry. You're seeing number 96 out there. Abe Myers is out there on offense. The clock stopped here with 29 seconds to go. And the stragglers that are left in the building are wondering why the clock stopped. Don't think they're alone on that.
During the play, the helmet for one of the defenders came off. Since this was in the last 2 minutes of the half, we have a ZAP 10 potential. North Dakota State has elected to take the ZAP 10 penalty. Please reset the game clock to 45. Take 10 seconds off, and then the clock will begin on my signal. Thank you.
First time I've heard that penalty.
Same. I think might have been something different. That was a mouthful. That's for sure.
Yep.
Please set the game clock to 35 seconds, and it will start on my signal.
I think everyone was a little bit confused after that one. Got the game clock right.
All right.
Here we go.
There we go. So likely the final snap of the game. Myers is lined up at fullback. Big number 96 there. The carry goes up the middle to Barry Penu, and that is going to put an emphatic end to a dominant homecoming victory for North Dakota State. There will not be 3 straight regular season wins for the University of South Dakota over NDSU. The Bison dominate the Coyotes 51-13, the final, behind another dynamic day from their quarterback. Cole Payton combines for 375 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Bison start league play with a big win.
Yeah, and it's still efficient. Still no turnovers. Still getting the ball to multiple different guys. I mean, we talked a ton about right there, 81, reschedule the tight ends and what they've been able to do on this offense. So obviously, you know what you have in the wide receiver room and all the talent there, and you might even be getting more back with Chris Harris. This offense, without a doubt, is scary. And obviously can't forget about the defense either, the way that they've played. And the stats are going to be a little bit different than usual, but phenomenal game all around.
Tim Polasek standing by with our guy, Sam Getzinger. Sam?
Hey, thanks, Tom. Tim, this is the 4th week you guys have put together a dominant performance. What can you say about this team's ability to execute the game plan today?
Well, I just like the preparation, right? I thought maybe they would punch back a little bit and we'd have to, face our first, resistance, but just the balance on offense stands out to me. Defense flying around, we're making some things happen. And I like this group. We're going to stay humble and hungry and continue to prepare. We got some big moments coming.
Defensively, what was working so well to shut down a team and a quarterback that has given fits over the last couple of years?
Well, last year maybe our plan wasn't perfect in the first quarter. I really like how we came out and we kind of attacked them. And then we didn't necessarily sack them, but we were hitting them early, and you could see that made him uneasy. And then I thought our coverage was pretty tight. I really did. I like how our defense played. I'm excited to get to the film and see that.
To have a game like this in front of a homecoming crowd, a lot of football alumni back in the building today, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it felt like it was at an all-time high. Like the support, the former players coming back. I mean, my phone has just been buzzing. Unfortunately, I can only do so much, but I'm so thankful for Bison Nation, specifically the BFPA, and then Team Makers, the Green and Gold Fund. I think we got a fun thing going on here right now. There's a lot of connection.
Thanks, Tim. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sam. Bison now 4-0. First time they've done that since 2022. And Sam is standing by with the player of the game, and Nathaniel Staling.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Nathaniel Staling is our Nodak Insurance player of the game, Mr. Pick 6 today. Tell me about that touchdown. What was running through your head when you had the ball in your hands?
Oh, when I had the ball in my hands, first thing was just to score. If I'm going to be honest, I don't remember a whole lot of the play. But I just caught that thing and I kept running and celebrating with my teammates.
Defensively, not just today, but throughout the season, you guys have been a force to be reckoned with. What is working so well for this defensive unit this season?
I think we're a very cohesive unit. I think we work very well together. And I really think we're just getting started. Long way to go still, but we're going to keep continuing to work hard. And, man, I'm really excited about this defense. We got a lot of great players.
What kind of message does a win like this send to the rest of the league about what's going on here at North Dakota State?
We're ready to go. We're ready to fight. We're always going to fight. That's what Bison do. But we're just excited to keep going game after game.
Hey, congratulations. Nathaniel Staling is our Nodak Insurance player of the game.
Thanks, Sam. One quick correction now. 2021 was the last time they started 4-0. That loss at Arizona came in Game 3. But the way that they have played, I mean, this has been as dominant as you could hope for here, Kyle. 1 by 38, 1 by 56, 1 by 27. Today, 1 by 38.
It's kind of interesting hearing Coach Polasek talk about it. It's almost like he wanted to see a little bit of adversity, to see how they respond. I think, it might be odd to say, but was it the first 5 to 8 minutes of the Citadel game might have been the most adversity we've seen.
That's because of weather, maybe more than anything.
Weather, right? But it was, offense, didn't get clicking right off the bat, and that's about it. That's all we've seen. Maybe I guess SEMO with answering with the touchdown. It was 7-7. That was a little bit there, but yeah, it's been as dominant as it could possibly be, and especially against a team in South Dakota, and they have a lot of questions to be answered on that side of the ball for a team that had really, really high hopes coming into the season, and now it's kind of falling apart.
I'll just say this, as you see number 9 signing some autographs, does the conversation have to begin about him and the Walter Payton Award?
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up. I was going to wait for you to do it. I think we both had the same thought probably early on in that third quarter. I'm looking at his stats once again, and it's not obviously to win an award like that, you got to be in a really good team. You got to be in a really good offense. You have to have the numbers.
Yep.
So far,
well, the numbers are there.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I don't know who has all the stats so far nationally, but I think you'd be hard-pressed through 4 games or 5 weeks of the season to find a guy that's maybe more deserving of him. I think Cam Miller has already talked about him. He's got the name right there, so he would be it would be a pretty popular pick if Cole Payton's able to get that done. Obviously, he'll tell you, and the coach will tell you, long way to go before that, but obviously he's off to a phenomenal start.
The campaign is off for number 9. Let's go around the FCS with a couple of scores before we get out of here. South Dakota State wrapping up non-conference play with newcomer of Division I, Mercyhurst. That's Erie, Pennsylvania, by the way, where they're located.
Thank you.
30-7, the Jackrabbits have that lead. SDSU opens league play next week. Montana State, after they lost to the Jackrabbits, the Cats could really run the table here depending on their schedule. They've obviously got the Brawl of the Wild game at the end of the season. Brett Vegan's team up 24-3 in the second quarter against Eastern Washington. A couple other scores to get you updated on. St. Thomas, who we'll see at the end of this regular season, come to Fargo. Glenn Caruso's team with a 10-3 lead on San Diego. And the battle for the Little Brown Stein tonight in Missoula, Idaho, and Montana for the top of the Big Sky. Boy, that is a heck of a way to start Big Sky play with that game coming up later tonight. A reminder, we're back with you next Saturday for Bison Game Day, live and normal at 10 a.m. The game is exclusive to ESPN Plus as the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week, so it will not be on WDAY. We'll be with you for pregame and postgame on WDAY Plus and Inforum.com for a 6 o'clock kickoff as NDSU takes on Illinois State. What a dominant performance today on homecoming by North Dakota State. They race out to a 31-point halftime lead and do not look back, and getting to 4-0 on the season. For Kyle Emanuel, Sam Getzinger, our spotter Grant Hubbard, and our great crew, I'm Dom Izzo. Thanks so much for enjoying Bison football with us on this Saturday. North Dakota State is 4-0 after a 51-13 win over South Dakota. Highlights and reaction coming up with Cullen Holt on WDAY Sports. We've got Bison postgame live coming up in just a few minutes on WDAY Plus. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.